Well, we'll get rolling here in just a minute with our usual run through of the markets. What's going on? A couple trades. You guys know the deal. Sun all over the place. I love to hear that. The markets are popping this morning. Nate, have you seen any news or reason for the pop other than just another volatile day for the fun of it?
Yeah, I think it's just making it fun for us, keeping us on our toes. Um, there was, I guess, some positive news about like a chance for some of the negotiations to be smoother, but that came like yesterday, I think around 3 o'clock. Got that little pop in the
Yeah.
close and then some follow through.
Bunch of rumors. Bunch
Yeah.
of rumors.
I mean, I think I don't know. Buy the rumor, sell the news at this point, right? I mean,
Right.
it seems like they keep
Right.
being closer than the actual words from the press secretary or anything else is the random tweet that comes out and says, yeah, we're going to get a pause for 90 days.
Definitely. Well, in other news, I guess Bitcoin is actually holding strong. I'll talk about that today, and it's breaking up. It's in the 90,000s again, which is pretty amazing considering that the market, I'll show you here in just a second, the market's still down pretty good from the Liberation Day or the Tariff Day. Bitcoin's actually up since that day, up pretty nice from then, almost 10% since that day. So it's really interesting to see that it's truly becoming a hedge, store of value play, or a diversification against the US dollar and US assets. So really interesting there. Bob, Tesla thoughts. We actually, Nate, I don't think I was invited to it. But we
Oh,
do
you
have a
didn't get the
Tesla.
invite.
No, no, no
Wow. Well, you
one.
should make a surprise appearance anyway.
There you go. There's a little. Bob's asking about Tesla. They have earnings today. I'll give you guys a little rundown of that here. But there is going to be a multi-trader panelist roundtable at 2:30 today, I
Yep.
believe. Is that
2:30.
correct?
2:30 will be live. We've got Jack on, Lance on. I think Roger's going to pop on there too. So we've got a nice group there. I thought you were going to be on, but apparently you didn't make the list.
I think you kicked me out for Lance.
Oh, wow. Nice.
I know.
Well, it's always good to, cut the fat, as they say.
Yeah, that's so true. Maybe next time. You can bring me on for Fortnite earnings. That's all
But
I'm
by all
saying
means, oh,
here.
true. But by all means, I mean, make a guest appearance. Should definitely come. Um, I uh, I think the Bitcoin thing you mentioned is super interesting because we talked about this literally just yesterday. Lovely to see it up on a green day too, because we've been seeing it up on red days the last week, and we've seen it, kind of hang in there and be positive on a couple of the green days as well. But yesterday, market was down 3%. Bitcoin was up 3% today. Market's up 2%. Bitcoin is up 2%. You love to see that as a Bitcoin holder that it's turning in both, risk on and risk off environments.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, Nate, I'm going to go ahead and dive into the materials if that's good with you.
Yeah, by all means, I'll hang back here. Maybe
Cool.
post a
And
couple
guys,
things in
feel
the
free to
chat.
post questions in the chat. There's going to be about 30, 40 minutes of data and analysis here. And I'll get to your questions as soon as I can, but I'm going to try and keep this party rolling. So we'll start off with the Telegram of the week. This one's kind of cheating. If you're not in my Telegram, click that link in the chat to join my free Telegram. I post trade ideas. We've been trading NVIDIA puts for a couple of weeks now. The weird thing is that I own NVIDIA stock. I'm very bullish long term on NVIDIA stock, but right now, short term, the momentum is negative. Newton's momentum's negative, so it's been against my gut feeling. But I've said, you know what, we're just going to stick to the system. We're going to trade these puts on NVIDIA like the Newton is telling us, and we so far a couple weeks in a row hit some really awesome winners. Um, and we've got another one looking like probably, well, we'll see what happens. But so far, looking like a nice, big, juicy winner this week, unless things change like crazy, which they totally can. But this is just me to brag on that. Hey, we've been making some money to the downside here, trading this drop on NVIDIA. Also, as a bonus for you guys today, only $197. Just kidding. It's free for you guys. I put together a little Apple Outlook report here. Posted it just here in the chat. Now you guys can get that for free. Just click that link. My team and I put together this little PDF on where Apple sits right now with the tariffs, where I think it's going to go in the little price action triggers that I'm looking for right now in Apple to then enter a long options position. Now, I did add some stock yesterday into the portfolio because I do like Apple from a long-term perspective, even though there's no major amazing catalyst right now. Just the fact that it's trading so far off the all-time highs. is really, really a great buying opportunity for me because at some point I have to believe Apple will be at all-time highs, and I have to believe it will outperform the market like it has for the last 25 years in a row. So if you guys want to know where I think Apple's at right now with the tariffs and such, click that link in the chat. It's free. Only 197 was a joke. Um, PDF is there in the chat. Now for our trades that I've placed so far in the opening playbook, mixed bag so far. We're up on 3, down on 2. Right now the losses are outweighing the winners, but we'll see how things shake out. We still have time on these, and we'll get some new trades in today. So let's go ahead and dive in with the morning market update so far this morning. And let me go ahead and get you guys an updated screenshot here like I always like to do. Because the QQQ, which is the NASDAQ 100 or our top tech stocks, are now above 2%. So here comes the new screenshot coming in fresh hot off the press right now. Here's where the markets stand this morning. So NASDAQ up 2%. Seems great, seems bullish. Keep in mind, guys, yesterday it was down 3%. So this really isn't that great. I think we're just getting pitter-patter ping-pong action right now, waiting for news. Right now, like we said earlier, it's just a lot of rumors out there. And then we'll hear that it's fake news, and then we'll hear another rumor and that it's fake news. And it's just kind of confusing, hard to really get a grip on what's actually going on. So right now, things do look bullish, but as I posted in Telegram this morning, I'm not buying this as a all clear signal that we're going higher from here. I think this is just our standard volatility day in and day out as this tariff news continues to unfold and hopefully deals start to come to the table. Now, with that said, there is one pointer to make here of an asset going higher, where typically I would say ignore it because it's just following that same volatility pitter patter. But again, let me highlight it here. Bitcoin is now up above $90,000 spot price again. It hasn't been there. Let me go ahead and tell you since when. Hasn't been above 90,000 since March. I was hoping it'd be earlier, but since the very beginning of March. It took a nosedive with the markets, but it actually, if you've been following along, it's held much, much stronger than most of your broad markets. Typically, Bitcoin would trade just more extreme than like the NASDAQ. So if the NASDAQ's down 3%, you might expect Bitcoin down 5%. If the NASDAQ's up 3%, you might expect Bitcoin up 5%. However, in this environment, it's traded much more like gold. Now, it hasn't traded like gold to a T. You guys know gold has been pretty much straight up and to the right. Um, Let me see. It looks like, sorry, some people are getting some questions about that PDF. We should be posting it to you here in the chat. If you guys can't see it, just let us know. But as I was saying, Bitcoin is trading a lot more like gold right now than it has been like the NASDAQ more speculative stocks. And that's really, really interesting to see. So yes, Bitcoin is up today as you would expect when the QQQ's up. But keep in mind, Bitcoin was also up yesterday when the NASDAQ was down 3%. So it's looking really, really good right now from a long-term perspective because I think it's going to find itself in one of those rare win-win scenarios where it's trading like a safe haven asset right now. So if people are still fearful of the US dollar weakening even more and the economy weakening even more, they are going to go to Bitcoin and gold. And then I also think if the interest rates actually get cut like crazy and spending and QE comes back, I think money's going to move into Bitcoin as a speculative asset. So I think it's in a rare win-win scenario right now, and we're seeing it really come to life. So that's why I highlight that there, and that's why that's why I spent 3 minutes of my time here talking specifically about Bitcoin. If you guys don't have Bitcoin, don't worry. You don't need to get a Coinbase account. You don't need to go get a hard cold storage wallet. You can just simply buy IBIT or FBTC. I posted those two tickets in the chat. Has everyone here traded the SPY, right? The SPY. You don't actually, when you trade the S&P 500, you don't go buy S&P futures, typically speaking. You could. You don't go buy the S&P 500. You buy the SPY, which gives you access to the S&P 500. It's the S&P ETF. In the chat, I've just posted IBIT is just like the SPY, but for Bitcoin. It gives you ETF access to Bitcoin. So you don't actually have to go do anything confusing or complicated. You can buy in your normal brokerage account, your retirement accounts, all of that. As a matter of fact, I have it in my retirement account. So IBIT is an easy way to get invested in Bitcoin, just like buying QQQ, SPY, GLD, you name it. All right, enough with that spiel. On to news in the broad economy news this week. There's nothing economic news. Sorry, nothing really big this week. Typical jobless claims on Thursday, but nothing huge. Next week things start to heat up again as we have GDP Q1 GDP quarter over quarter announcement on Wednesday morning before the markets open. It's kind of like the earnings report for America. That's coming up on Wednesday next week. And then unemployment on Friday next week. So nothing crazy. We also have PCE, which is a pretty important report as well, but nothing crazy going on right now. Again, all eyes are still on tariff news. In fact, it's funny. We'll talk about earnings here in a second. It's wild to me that there's almost no chatter on CNBC, investing.com, even Twitter about the earnings happening right now. Nobody really seems to care about the earnings happening right now because everybody is so focused on these tariffs and what's going on with the trade war. It's unlike anything I've seen since probably early 2022 when the only thing people cared about is what the Fed was going to do and earnings were pretty much overlooked. So we're kind of seeing that right now again with the tariff news as well. For the charts of the week here, I'm leaning bullish here with their charts of the week. And this, again, this is for your long-term outlook here. What you're looking at here is basically what the S&P 500 6-month return is on average, given a current VIX level. So VIX is the volatility index. Right now, it's at 30 is the reading. It spiked as much as 60 last week. But when we're in that 30 range, so see down here, 28 to 33 range on the VIX. See that? So right now we're at 30. So we're in this range. Over the next 6 months, the S&P returns 9.3% on average. So over the next 6 months, historically, this is a great buying opportunity. When it's above 33%, which it was just 2 weeks ago, actually just last week, average 6-month return is 12%. So even if we were looking at this, which we haven't seen 26 since below 26 since the beginning of the month. If we're looking at these 6-month on average, we'll call it 10% returns from here according to history. Now, we all know history doesn't always repeat, but it often rhymes. So what this is telling me is for the next 6 months, we might see another dip here, but I think you fast forward to what is that? October, November, we're going to be up higher from here and by a good bit. Here's another chart to give you that same sort of look. This is the S&P returns after 15% drawdowns, and this is a more longer term outlook. 83% of the time, it's higher over the next 365 days. 96% of the time, it's higher over the next 3 years. And obviously 10 years from now, it should be higher. So this is for anyone who's worried. I saw a post the other day of a guy who is he owns a business. He's invested in stocks, and obviously with the drops, he's worried about liquidity right now. If his portfolio drops, maybe he can't afford to fund his business, and he's made the decision that he's just going to stick with the savings account for the rest of his life because then he doesn't have to worry about drops and stressing out over that, which may sound good at first, but there's nothing that beats the stock market in the long term. And this is my opinion, and the data kind of backs it up. But long term, even with these scary shakeouts, I'm trying to urge people that now is not the time to be cashing out of your stocks in fear. Yes, we may get a little leg lower, but from here on out, I firmly believe, and again, this is my opinion. This is not guaranteed. I don't have a crystal ball. We could go lower for the next 10 years, but I have a really, really good feeling. And I shouldn't say feeling, but just data to prove it up that over the next few years, we're going to be very, very happy with our current levels of buying right now. For the analyst ratings, we had this report come out this week, revised ratings on the S&P 500, where analysts see the markets finishing. So this blue dot here is where they saw it at the beginning of the year. So pretty much everybody, with the exception of BCA Research, saw the S&P 500 going higher for the year. For the most part, that's these blue dots, 6,500. Where do we start the year? Does anyone know exactly? So I can give you a real number here. We started the year at 5,900. So anything above here, let me just draw a line for you guys. Just a rough drawing here. So this is the S&P at the beginning of the year, 5,900 levels. I'll make it blue. Let me match the blue. All right, there you go. So all but two analysts said the S&P 500 was going to finish higher for the year. And my screen has officially froze. Let me just reset this. Not sure why Zoom does this for some reason. All right, can everyone see my screen? All right, we're back in action. Hope you can see my screen. The blue dots here are projections at the beginning of the year. All but two said it's going to go higher from here. Now, if we're looking at the black dotted lines, these are the more recent analyst predictions for the end of the year. But the S&P has shifted, right? So now the S&P is right about here. So now what we're seeing is pretty much every analyst is saying that the S&P 500 will be higher than this level over the next year. So let me just make this line black so you can see. So here's the current levels of the S&P, and this black dots are their new revisions. And as you can see, it looks like a lot more upside here than what it looked like previously because we have such a great buying opportunity. So all that to say, I'm bullish on the next year or two, uh, and obviously long term as well. Here's a fun chart that I want to remind you guys of for opportunities to buy things at a discount right now. You guys know I love insurance stocks. Why? Because they perform about 12 to 14% per year on average over the last 30 years. I will type some of those tickers in here that I love. Keep in mind they are pretty expensive right now because they've done so well. But those are some of your top. Let me give you bro as well. Those are some of your top insurance stocks to hold long term. In my opinion, they're great investments. Progressive is my favorite of all of them. Um, Checks keep coming in on good times, bad times, recessions. You guys know the deal. And they average about 12 to 14% a year. Now, another category of stocks similar to that is aerospace and defense. Now, it might not be fun buying defensive stocks, wartime stocks, all of that good stuff, but they have, if we look here, aerospace and defense averages 12% per year. The S&P 500 has averaged about 9 to 10% per year. So it might not seem like a lot, but let me just do some math for you guys here. This will be fun. I'm making this up on the fly, but I just want to show you the difference between in industrials here, 8%. So I'll show you the difference between these three if I can get my internet here to work. Can you guys hear me and see me okay?
You look good on my end. Yeah, I think we're good.
My internet is just spinning. So I think this happened last time too.
Yeah, I think the same thing has happened before. It looks fine for us, but for you, it's getting all kinds of buggy signals and stuff.
Do you want me to send you the phone number to call in just as like an in case you have to?
I'll just switch to my hotspot on my phone if I have to, but I
Okay.
just can't get an internet connection at the moment. So there's that, which is so weird. So
I
weird.
mean, yeah, you must have internet connections. Hashtag fake news from
I
Zoom.
know, right? All right. Well, anyways, I can't show you this because my Google Sheets won't load, but 12% is a lot better than 10% a year. It seems like not that much, but that's a 20% increase on investment because 12 divided by 10 is, excuse me, is that 20%? Yeah, that's 20%. Yeah, 20% better. So after about 10 years, you're going to be smoking it with aerospace and defense, given this historical difference. Some top stocks that I like here. Aaron, you beat me to it. NOC is way down on earnings. It's down 11% on earnings. Now, I'm going to trade it short today, but if I were going to do a long-term investment, I would look to buy NOC right now at a huge discount. That's Northrop Grumman. Right now, they had earnings. They typically get an earnings drift in either direction that they post, so we'll trade it to the downside today. But I just posted here in the chat some tickers for you guys to see, some really good ones. You can do Lockheed Martin too, LMT. All of these names are trading for a discount right now and typically are very, very bullish in the long run. Now, GE and HWM aren't trading as much of a discount. Those have been just absolute monster stocks for us. We've traded them over and over again, but the others are good ones to have too in the long-term portfolio. I'll add LMT in here as well if you guys want that. So you guys have my insurance stocks, you have my aerospace stocks. These are ones that are just buy and hold, don't even look at them and let them grow and hopefully outperform the S&P by a difference, a marginal difference of 20%. So it looks like 2%. That's really 20% better returns over time. Ralph, what's the best aerospace and defensive ETF? Good question. I should know it off the top of my head. I'd have to Google it, but my internet's just spinning over here and it says working offline, which literally does make no sense since I'm here presenting to you guys as well. Good old internet. I saw this chart today and I found it interesting. Gold. If you're looking at the RSI levels on gold, we're at the most overbought levels ever. And I put that in quotes because I think that's a bunch of hogwash. I think this chart's going to tell you it's time to sell gold, right? I don't think we're done with gold. Let's look at this. I'm going to draw you guys a couple shapes here. Here was gold RSI levels a few weeks ago. Oh man, it's one of the highest ever. Time to sell. Oh man, one of the highest ever. Time to sell. Look at these. I'm going to give you all these false readings. Now, back here, it looked like a good reading. But look at this. We've had plenty of high RSI readings. If you see this chart out there, do not freak out. Do not think it's time to sell. Now, I have been saying I do want to start taking profits on gold, but I just don't think the ceiling is in yet. Um, and I'm lucky to not have taken any profits yet. I got to figure out how I'm going to do all of that. But that's the first thing to notice is that this RSI signal may be a fake news, false signal for us to sell your gold. Secondarily, look at this chart. It only goes back to 2010. Do we know when the best time to buy gold was ever? Well, I shouldn't say ever, but in recent history. The best time to buy gold was in the 1970s. We don't know what the RSI was like back in the 1970s. Given the fact that it was up 50% like 3 years in a row, I have to imagine for about 3 years straight, the RSI was about like all the way up there. Now I'm being a little bit dramatic there, but I'm saying that gold has more room to run. It's up 2 years in a row, 1.5 years in a row. Very similar environment to what we saw in the 70s, and that was a 3 year run. So there's still room to run on gold, in my opinion. Kato, oh, there you go. Oh, I thought KTOS. Never mind. KTOS is another defensive stock. Thanks, Susan. I will find you guys a good ETF for it later, though. Does this make sense on gold? I saw this today, and at first glance, I was like, oh no, maybe I should sell. And then I took a little deeper dive. Said, maybe I'll keep holding. Dorley in 1975, gold is 327. Yeah, wouldn't that be sweet? I should bring back that chart that over the last 20 years, gold is now outperforming the S&P 500, which is mind-blowing, but it's true. So again, I do think that this realistically could go to 4,000. I do think realistically it could get crazy and go to 4,500. So let's let it run. Let's do it. Let us do its thing while tensions are high and fears are high and inflation is still sneaking in the background and no one knows what's going to happen with interest rates or this trade war. Here's just to show you again the Bitcoin and S&P. I pulled this morning. Over the last 2 months, we've seen them detach, per se, if that's a good word for it, detether from one another. That's something Nate would probably say. Cool little word there. We're seeing Bitcoin perform more like gold and less like a speculative investment. So historically, we would see Bitcoin, if S&P was down 10%, Bitcoin would be down 20%. If S&P was up 10%, Bitcoin would be up 10 or 20%. Now it's not happening. Now the S&P over the last 2 months is down 8%, and Bitcoin, actually, if I add in today, is up almost 10%. All right, so this is just a visual here to show you exactly what I was telling you about Bitcoin. See how they were trading so closely together, and then just recently, since really that Liberation Day, which was when was it? April 7th, April 8th. I'm giving a ballpark here. We've seen them completely detached from one another, where Bitcoin's headed in the direction of gold and S&P is headed downwards. So there's just a cool little visual for you. Keith says, when they reassess the value of gold, it will go up multiples, and silver is 105 to 1 versus gold. Yeah, silver could be a really great one too. What is silver doing today? It's up slightly. Gold is not really up much today, but that's okay. I do think silver could be good. Gold is the safe play, the main play for me. ITA, thank you, Jim. Jim says ITA is the aerospace and defense ETFs and PPA. So, Jim, I'm just going to post that here in the chat again. Thank you, thank you, thank you for finding that for me. So, for everyone who is curious about the aerospace and defense ETFs, there you go. Everyone say thank you, Jim, in the chat. Now, it looks like I haven't researched them, but I was just seeing if one was outperforming the other. Hey, Jim says thanks, Jim. That's funny. Thank you, Jim. All right, I got to keep this moving. Market overview. Last week, I said for long-term investors, this is a great opportunity. For short-term investors, it's a coin flip. It's almost like gambling, depending on what's going to come out next on Twitter or Truth Social from Trump. We need some deals, guys. We need some real news coming in. This game of poker with China is getting pretty stressful. We don't know who's going to fold first or who's got the cards right now. It's a really, really great game of poker. Interesting to watch. Not so interesting to watch in our portfolios. But right now, we just need some actual deals to come through. We need to see this tariff start to pay off, make progress. I would love to see tax rates start to get cut, which I think are complementary to tariffs. If we're going to put tariffs in, we got to start cutting taxes. Otherwise, we're getting to get double whammied as consumers. Here's where we are now. Here was that Liberation Day, the day of all the tariffs, where we had held up that big sign of tariffs. Markets sank and sank and sank, and then we had the biggest day, one of the biggest days on record. And now we're just kind of trading in this channel. So if we're looking here, I need to move this down. We're just kind of in this channel where there's not a lot of direction right now, and we're just getting a lot of volatility in here. So today we're right about right here. Again, right smack dab in the middle of this channel where it's just basically bouncing off of news or rumors, right? We had that huge rumor news here of the tariffs being paused, sold off from there. And so now we're just waiting on news to give us a real direction here. A lot of volatility in here. And until we get a break above or below one of these, I don't really have a great sense of direction. I just know we're going to get volatility. It's a great opportunity if you guys have been trading like Nate's two-way options, which we did one on MicroStrategy yesterday, just yesterday. It's great for opportunities like that, or even like the moonshots where you're picking a direction or another for overnight moves. Just because we're getting so much volatility, these moves that are this big are very rare. They're hard to predict, but when you're on the right side of them, they can pay off really, really good. Another great thing to be doing right now, in my opinion, is selling premium. So doing credit spreads out of the money, or like Chuck does, those deep in the money ones where you're still going to get great premium and have a lot of wiggle room on your positions. So that's really great right now. And the reason those are working so well is because with this volatility, market makers are increasing the price of options. They're increasing the applied volatility. So premiums are sky high. So we have two really good opportunities. One, to play it both ways because we're going to get these crazy moves. Two, to sell premium because premium is more inflated than it has been in a long time. So where do we go from here? Well, let's take a look at the levels. We're kind of parking out here. Like I said, we're parking out in this zone of Liberation Day. Fear's at the same level as what it was last week. The CPC is still at that one reading. We've just kind of stalled out right here around one. We're stalling out in fear mode. Look at this. The stock's above the 50-day moving average. We are right where we started. Liberation Day, again, trading right within that zone. Same thing for stocks in the 200-day moving average. In my opinion, I think we're stalling out until we get news. And that's what makes it really hard for being a short-term trader is typically we trade on trends and patterns and seasonal things that happen seasonally. That's what happens in quiet, calm markets. Right now, it's the opposite. Patterns, seasonal, all that stuff is almost thrown out the window because it's all news-driven on what is going to happen next. And it's very hard to predict. For seasonal speaking, though, again, I told you this last week. Typically, this is great to trade in quiet markets where the news isn't crazy. Right now, take it with a grain of salt because it's all news driven. April's a very bullish month seasonally. It might end up looking like a very bullish month this year again, but it's all going to be news driven. If we're looking at our seasonal patterns of the S&P 500 in new president years, this red line is typically what happens when there's a new president in office. We expected to start seeing a turnaround here in April. We have not seen it yet. And it's all news driven on tariffs. If we can get this news to settle down, I would expect us to regain our footing here, probably get a nice big rebound, and then kind of model this performance for the rest of the year. That's my anticipation. But again, until the news settles, which it doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon, we just take this with a grain of salt. For my upcoming prediction, and it's anticlimactic, it's a non-prediction. It's the same as the last 2 weeks. There's no clear trend here. It's all news related. Unless you are friends with Donald Trump or Elon Musk and get the news ahead of time, like it seems like some people magically do, if you look at the options orders happening minutes before the news is posted. Well, unless you're that person, it's going to be really hard to trade. So I just want to encourage you guys to be patient here. It's been a couple of weeks here where it's just been pitter-pattering around all over the place. It's hard to be patient. We want to jump in. But for the short-term investors, I'm not trying to rush into something unreasonable. I'm not trying to overload myself or make too big a position size right now. So I just want to encourage you guys, be smart, be patient. Even if this takes another month, yes, that's going to be boring. We will all want to get in for some big fast gains. But I just want to encourage you that there are going to be better times to get clearer entries than right now. Now, for the long-term investors, remember, I believe this is a historic buying opportunity. If we're looking at the VIX levels, it's a very, very good buying sign. If we're looking at the returns after 15% drawdowns, very, very good buying sign as well. So long-term investors, I like it right now. We might get another leg lower. Realistically, I think the SPY is most of the downside is already in, but I do think we could get another 60 point drop on the SPY, which would put us about 460. I think that's very reasonable. If we were to get a next leg lower, that would be our resistance from the 2023 rally in surgeon stocks. It would also be right around the 200-day moving average on the weekly charts. So that is my next level down, 260, if we do break below the lows. But again, right now, we're waiting on news. For earnings coming up this week, again, we have Tesla after the bell today. There's going to be a special roundtable broadcast at 2:30 today. Keep an eye out in Nate's Telegram and our other Telegrams here. We're going to have quite a few traders on to talk about Tesla, where they think it's going for earnings, and that will be at 2:30 p.m. today. We also have ISRG, which is one of my favorite stocks right now too, trading at a massive discount. They have earnings today. Now I wonder what the implied move is on ISRG. $33 implied move, so about 8% on ISRG. Here you can see the stock. Let me pull this up here real quick. Hey, Nate.
Graham, are you doing anything on Tesla? Are you trading it at all?
I might at the round table, but not at the moment.
Well, that's what I mean when you make a surprise visit to the round table.
Oh, for sure. I can't let a fun trading day pass me by, especially when the market looks like it has. ISRG, guys, it's been a very, very strong stock. Look at this guy. It's a mammoth. You can see anytime you can get this puppy at a discount, it's paid off big. If you get it at a discount, it's paid off big. I should move this earning stuff away because wow, that looks like a lot to handle. But right now, ISRG, like much of the rest of the market, 620 to 470. It's trading what is that, $150 off its highs, which is a pretty big gap. That would be about a 33% return from here to all-time highs. Great stock. Great company. I think it's going to be a matter of time before this one to rebound. And they have earnings today, so it could be a good time to get in. Also, I've highlighted a few of these. GEV, another one of my favorite stocks, up 3% today. This is one of my largest holdings. They have earnings tomorrow morning. We have ServiceNow. Man, this gets me excited. Another great stock to buy on all dips. Look at this over the last 20 years. Big dip, buy the stock because this, look, dip to 50 within a year is at 80. So that's what it's 80% return roughly on the stock. Within a couple of years of that 200, that's a 300% return on the stock. Big dip here, you buy the stock, it rips. Big dip, it rips. So right now, again, there's 2022, huge rip from there. Look at this big drawdown on ServiceNow. In fact, we had one member here who actually worked there, and he said it's a great company. Stock was trading at $1,200 just recently. It's at 700 now. It's almost trading at a 50% discount. This is an incredible stock, in my opinion. And I think much like Apple and the other tech stocks, it's just a matter of time before this one goes back to all-time highs. Now, we could be, let's look back here at 2022. It could be like right here where you still have to wait a year to see it happen, or it could be down, we could be right here where it's about to go higher from here. That's why I don't like playing guessing games with my long-term investments. If I see something trading at an incredible discount, and even if I have to wait a year for it to start going parabolic again, I think it's well worth it. So ServiceNow, earnings Wednesday after the bell. We also have Google, which is a big one on Thursday, and T-Mobile as well. So a lot of earnings names coming up. Maybe we'll trade some on Thursday in the class. We probably will. It'll be fun. We could trade some Google, Intel, T-Mobile. We'll see what else is on the board that day. Have some fun there. So make sure you're there Thursday. Jim, long-term, like Path and MP may go with leaps. That's great. I think that's a great call. Russ, sure. Next month, May, we go away. Russ, again, that's something that I would say seasonally in a quiet period. Yes, sell in May and go away. It has seasonally worked out. I think that this is not going to be a very quiet summer. I just have a feeling that we're going to have news every day this summer, and no one's going to get their nice summer break off in the stock market, just with all of the news that's already kicked off in the last few months. So I'm not necessarily going to say sell in May and go away. If we're looking at sector analysis, Again, seasonally, great time to be long all sectors. With that said, grain of salt, guys. Last week I liked financials, utilities, communications. This week, if we're looking at the notable shifts, nothing crazy happened other than real estate was hot. We just otherwise had a couple one slot moves. Utilities and financials flipped. Real estate made a big move higher. Everything else, I mean, they didn't really move much lower. It's just because real estate moved up 3, so these all got bumped down 1. Nothing crazy going on here. I do like utilities and financials still. We'll trade a utility stock here in a second. And staples, this thing has been riding high. It's been it's like a hedge play per se. High inflation, uncertainty. People are still buying cereal. That's the theory with the staples. They're not buying, Lululemon, but they are buying their basic necessities in life. So that's why staples have been so strong. And I'm just going to go ahead and add that in there as one that you can consider to trade right now. Now, I do think this is why I've stayed away from staples. I do think if and once we start getting positive news, this thing's going to drop like a rock and we're going to see these names start coming back up a lot faster. So that's why I've stayed away from staples. It's just got a lot of downside risk right now, in my opinion, based on the news. Meanwhile, like financials and utilities have just been very good through all of the different shakeouts and environments. We're going to get into the nitty gritty here in a second where we'll do some live trading together. Scott's asking out for those long-term opportunities. I'll give you those names right now. Let me just pull up that list so I don't miss any. These are ones that have earnings this week, and that's why they were brought up today. But these are ones that I really like for the long term regardless. They're trading at a discount. GEV is a newer one. It's a spinoff of General Electric. I like it for a long-term energy play. But ISRG, ServiceNow are stocks that have just been mammoths that they can be volatile. They can drop 50%. Like ISRG is down, or ServiceNow is down 40 something percent, but they almost always go back to all-time highs and then some from there. So in my opinion, it's like a rare buying opportunity. What's happening to RTX? Let's take a look. Did they have earnings this morning? Yeah, they had earnings this morning. Underperformed earnings on RTX, Dan. And I think NOC did as well. Yeah, they did. NOC was way underperforming on earnings. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some trades. Let's go find some Apex signals this week. Let me go ahead and flip this up. I listed a few out there. Now, keep in mind. Let me just tighten this up. We did do a trade on AJG, which is still kind of where it was when we started. Not a lot of movement here. This is an insurance stock. This is one of those insurance names I gave you. That's a great buy and hold. You can see why I love this stock. It doesn't get much prettier than that. Another name that we liked was O'Reilly, which let me get down to O'Reilly. Here's O'Reilly, another great name to buy and hold. Look at this. They have a 15-to-1 stock split coming up, which is going to be awesome in June. Stocks that split typically average 17.1% over the next year. So that's a really interesting fact for you guys if you're considering O'Reilly. This stock has doubled over the last 2 years. And we're talking about an auto parts store. We're not talking about a tech stock or something that's creating new technology. An auto parts company has doubled over the last 2 years. And in the wake of all of this chaos, you guys can see how strong this has been. Mark down on your calendars, guys, because I'll probably forget. Mark down on June 10th to talk about the O'Reilly split. We'll definitely want to be trading that. Another stock that I love, Progressive. It hit its stop loss on Apex. So what I like right now, and I'm going to go here to Microsoft. This is going to be your speculative play for the day. Microsoft is going to be a speculative Apex play. Again, this has not been one of our stronger stocks. This has been one of our weaker stocks over the last few months. I mean, really over the last year. Look at this. It's peaked out in July and it's gone lower since then. So almost for a year, we haven't had a single Apex signal. We've been waiting. So we just got one now. I'm not going to ignore it. Now, keep in mind, Microsoft has earnings. What is it, next week? On the 30th. Microsoft has earnings on the 30th. So I'm going to do a short-term play here on Microsoft. Really, this is going to be more of a speculative play for a bounce, and the fact that, um, oh shoot, I'm trying to find a good. I'm just going to play it for this week's bounce, and I'm going to do one contract, guys. I'm not going to go big here. Again, it's not the time to go big, in my opinion. Actually, oh, the earnings makes it tough. I thought we were going to get a second expiration in there. What should we do, guys? What should we do? Well, anyways, here, let me give you Microsoft. They have earnings on April 4/30, so keep that in mind. The profit target is at 407. Stop loss is at 334. And just for you, those of you who aren't aware, let me just actually pull up the actual stats because I have a cheat sheet for this. Apex looks at the weekly price action of a handful of stocks that have been back tested and specifically coded up, each one individually with their own rules to find high likelihoods of working out. So let me find this here for you. So if you have Apex, you have this sheet. But if you don't have Apex, I'll just show you. Here's our little cheat sheet. So we know in Microsoft, every time it gets a signal, it's hit the profit target. Look at this, 89% of the time. So, and now keep in mind that's about over 7 weeks, but 89% of the time it's ended up hitting the profit target. So let's actually trade this like I would trade it as an Apex signal. So we want to be at the profit target. And we want to give ourselves about 7 weeks of time. Again, knowing that it's worked almost 9 out of every 10 times over the last, I think this was 10, I don't want to give you an exact number, but over the last good chunk of years with a very nice profit factor here in Microsoft. Now, again, each stock has their own individual testing. So when you get an Apex entry and you have this hit list here handy, just go check it out. See how long you want to buy, and then what the average move is, the hit rate, so you can know your confidence rating. So let's go ahead and do Microsoft here. I'm going to give it 7 weeks to get to this target. So here's our target price on Microsoft, 407. I'm going to go slightly under the target. Keep in mind we have earnings, we have a dividend. Let's have some fun and let's trade this like we should, like I teach you guys to do it. 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week, 5 week, 6 week. This is going to be a little past 7 weeks. That's fine with me. Let's see what happens if I come all the way up here to just outside of our profit target. This will be awesome. Let's do this. Eastwood, I'll pull that up here in a second. So here I'm going to do an out of the money debit spread on Microsoft. Now you can trade basic calls. If you're going to trade the basic calls, I would look here. I'd probably do the 20th June expiration. And I would probably, man, this is just going to be a tough trade, but probably look around the 390 strike. But again, you're going to need it to outperform the target. If it's at the target by June 20th, you'll make about 120% return on investment. What I'm going to show you here, we're going to make about 400% return on investment. So pick your poison. So if you want to trade the basic calls, go 20 June, 390 strike call. Let me just type this in here. 20 June, expiration, 390 call. That's if you want to trade the basic call. Now I'm going to give you a spread here. I'm going to buy the 400 call and I'm going to sell the 405 call for a net debit of 103 right now. And what this is going to say is if Microsoft is at its target in a few months from now for entering for 105, and the max we can earn from this is the difference of here. So $5. We're entering for 105. We're going to make 376% return on investment. So it's at $1 now. So you're going to make 400% return on investment. So if I do, I don't know, put $1,000, then you can see that turns into $3,700. So I'm going to do 5 of these. So I did 5 contracts, right? And I paid 103. So I paid $515. And if it goes up 376, it'll be worth $1,900. Let me just make it easier. That's pretty cool, right? Did everyone see what I did there, or was that too fast? Darn, Stacy says I did too fast. All right. So we're looking here at the Apex entry. We know our profit target's here at 407. We know it typically takes Microsoft. We know it typically takes Microsoft 7 weeks to get to that target. And it's worked out. Well, I'm going to call it 90% of the time. It's 89.3, but we'll call it 90% of the time that it's hit that target within 7 weeks. So all I did was I took an expiration just north of 7 weeks out and just under our target. So it's going to be more conservative. So what did I give you? 620. So you can just see how much time we have here. So if Microsoft is right here where my crosshairs are, so we have some time here. We have about 2 months of time here. We have about 2 months of time here, but if Microsoft makes this move here, which isn't out of the ordinary, right? That's a very normal size move for Microsoft. We're going to make 400% return on investment. The stock is only going to gain about 10% from here if that happens, and we make 400% returns. How do I calculate it? Good question. This is in all of the members areas. Look for the calculators button. And just ignore the credit spread one. We're not doing the credit spread. So the wrap order and elite trade calculator. Bullish, we're trading bullish, right? So I'm going to put in the numbers I just gave you. We're buying the 400, selling the 405. I did 5 contracts and I got filled at 103. I just punched in the exact numbers I gave you. I'm not doing anything else. And here it's going to do the math for me. I'm risking $500 to make $1,985. Pretty sweet. That's a 385% gain potential if Microsoft hits our target. If it doesn't, I lose $500. But the risk to reward here is like 4-1. Pretty awesome in my opinion. Are you adding a profit target? I am not adding a profit target. I don't like profit targets. Nate loves them. But let's say you do want to add a profit target. Let's say you want to add, like, you can put them in here, but 325 profit target. That's about halfway to your goal. So you can set at, and you don't even have to pay attention. You can make it good to canceled. And if Microsoft makes a move higher and you're sleeping and not paying attention and it hits 325 on the spread, you can still get, look at this, like 216. That's still amazing. Even if you didn't even want to be that aggressive, you can still get like a 50% return on it wouldn't take much for Microsoft the spread to get to 160. So you can play with the targets, do what you want. I like to ride for the full profit. I go for the bacon. I like going for the big hitting trades here, especially when we have a tool like Apex. So there's your Apex signal of the day. Everyone got filled at 103 very fast. Yeah, I think we might be able to go lower too on the price. Let me just try it for fun. I'm just gonna do one here just to see how low can we go. I put it at $1. We'll see if it fills. So there's your Apex signal of the day. Other bonus ones, again, Costco, O'Reilly, what is Apex? That's a indicator that I built. It specifically looks at the weekly charts just to see basically you want to see the change of a weekly candle and the price to exceed the highs of the previous week. There's a lot that goes into it. Each stock has its own specific rules. And then we test them like I showed you. So they have about 80-90% accuracy for that individual stock. And then it applies it to your chart. So I just give you guys a top one every week here as well. Is Costco along? Let me just pull those up for you guys so you have them. Costco is along. It's been pitter-pattering around here like most of the market, but it's not down ugly like the rest of the stock market. So target profit targets at 1085, and man, Costco needs a stock split too. Stop losses at 855. So there's Costco, and then what was my other one I gave you? O'Reilly. So we did the trade on Microsoft. That's your freebie for the week. And then I'm going to give you O'Reilly here as well. Amazing, amazing stock. Target at 1521. Stop at 1239. There you go. Bonus picks for you. Pick your options however you want to. I'm going to keep moving. Hot sheet picks of the week. Right now, AEM is up on the board for today. It looks like a great stock. It's a gold stock, so obviously it's crushing. Gold mining company. It's been on an absolute tear. Historically, Hot Sheet tells us seasonally what stocks typically do good for a certain period of time. So on April 22nd through the next 18 days, AEM typically goes about 4% higher from here. Let me pull up a daily chart. So as you can see, the thing is cooked. I mean, it's just been going because gold has been going, right? Looks pretty similar to gold. But I'm going to trade this higher as well. I'll give you guys a trade on this one. If we can get good options liquidity, we can get filled on this bad boy. Let me type this up for you after I check these prices real quick, and we're going to trade AEM to the upside and hold it for about a month. Let's see. I said 4% from here, so that would be about $5 on the move. Do you guys want to go safer or more aggressive? We can go really safe. I just don't think that's even good enough. Stacy says aggressive. Oh, filled for $1 in Microsoft. Nice, Diane. We got some safe ones. All right. I'm going to go safer. So AEM is on a gold stock. I'm going to do the spread. Again, if you don't want to trade the spread, go to the 20 June. I'll just type this up. If you just want to trade the basic call options, go to 20 June expiration. And then I would do the, man, it's just not great, but I would do the 120 call if I were you. That's about $1,000 to enter. If AEM gets that 4% move higher, this should go up to about $13, $14. So you should get about 40% move on that. I'm going to give you something that I think is way better. It's going to be our debit spread, our wrap order on AEM. I'm going to do the 16th of May expiration. I'm going to buy the 120 call, sell the 125 call. Right now, this is at a debit of 270. And I'll walk you through the profitability here in a second. This is going to be our safer play. I'm going to get one of those. Filled right away at 270, so you can probably go cheaper. I'll let this one sit. But I should have walked you through it first to show you exactly why this is so cool. Stacy says spread is better. I agree. AEM by May 16th. Do you guys see where my crosshairs are? If it's above where my crosshairs are by May 16th, I got entered for 270. 5 is the max profit. I will get 85% return on investment if the stock pretty much goes nowhere from here. So there you can see my crosshairs. Stock can go down from here and then come back and go higher and come lower. As long as it finishes above 125 on May 16th, I will make 85% return on investment. So that's why I like doing the spreads. This is our safer play. If you want to go even safer, you would go deeper in the money. If you want to go more aggressive, you can just shift it out. So what I mean by that, Stacy, you wanted more aggressive. You could buy the 125 and sell the 130 and enter for a $2 debit. Now you can run it through the calculators, but I'll tell you right now, that'll be about 150% ROI. So right now ours is going to pay about 85% ROI. If you wanted to go a little more aggressive, you go for 150% ROI. It also means that the win rate's going to go down. If you want to go even safer, you go one strike in the money, which means AEM can actually fall and you'd still make 345. That'd be about a 35% return on investment, even if AEM were to fall about 3% from here over the next month. You can make 30% if the stock falls 3%. Pretty cool, right? Now what's even cooler, in my opinion, and you can't do it here. I was looking to do it. Chuck, if you guys were paying attention last week, he's found a way. There's 63 million options out there. He's found a way to build an algorithm that goes through all the different tickers, looks at the different options metrics, the liquidity, everything you need to know, and then looks to see if a stock could fall about 10% and still pay around 30% on investment. So like for AEM, if I were to go 10% down here, we'll call it this. So we get about 10% on AEM if the stock fell 10%, or it could go to the moon, it could go sideways, but even if it fell, you can get about 10%. Chuck's got a tool called AutoStrike that goes through all the tickers out there and finds the ones where the stock could literally fall, this much. See where my crosshairs are? So based on what I just selected, it could fall this much and still pay you 30%. So a very abnormal fall could still pay big, and it could go up and pay big. It can go sideways and pay big. But on AEM, you can't do that. The options aren't priced that way. But the algorithm he built goes through all the different options available to tell you which ones have the juiciest premiums. Which, like I said at the beginning, with the VIX so high, now is the time to be collecting those premiums, even if the stock falls. I do use the tool. I've got 2 trades on it right now, Palantir and Take-Two Interactive. And it's about a month hold time, guys. So basically, if I told you had a way to get 30% return on investment if the S&P fell 10%, as long as the S&P didn't fall more than 10% over the next year, I think everybody would take me up on that trade every single year. What Chuck's able to do is get about 30% every month, as long as the stock doesn't fall more than 10%. So it's really, really, it's like what I just gave you as an example on steroids. Imagine having the chance to turn a 30% ROI every single month, even if a stock falls 5, 6, 7, 8%. That's what it's able to do. Now, I told you guys in Telegram yesterday that we only had like 5 spots left in AutoStrike. I had the team rerun it. We had like 12 people buy it twice. They liked it so much they bought it twice. So we had to give them, obviously, get them settled there with their money back so that they only had 1 membership per person. So they did go through the math. Again, I think there's like 12 spots now after they undid the duplications. So we are going to do a 1-day last chance sort of presentation here in this class. If you guys want this tool, it's really cool. Again, I do all the work manually here. You just witness that. This tool does it all for you. You don't have to go through the options chain. You don't have to go flip through different tickers. It goes into the options chain for you and gives you the exact strikes to buy, just like I did. Imagine if I was a robot and did that for you, and it does it instantaneously every single morning. So again, we're going to play that class one more time right now. Chuck and I are also going to do it live one more time today at 1 p.m. and talk about today's newest pick. But again, the spots are limited. After that, we did talk. The price is just going to go up. So if you want one of the final prices or one of the final spots at today's or at the opening founding membership discount, we are going to give you guys that opportunity today. And hopefully those spots are all filled up by the time Chuck and I are live at 1 o'clock. But with that said, pay attention. Again, you're going to get new trades today, all dialed up for you on a silver platter. The algo does the work for you, selects the options for you. It stress tests them for you, gives you the calculator, and spits it all out so you can just copy and paste it over. So here, we'll get this rolling here. Don't go anywhere. Stay put. It's one of the last chances to get AutoStrike for the current founding membership. The profits and performance shown today are not typical. You may lose money. We all know this, guys. The trades expressed are based on real-time signals from AutoStrike and trades that were taken in real time. So it's not a back test, nothing like that. This is real application here. Now, obviously, no one can guarantee future results. We're not genies. What you're going to see today are some of the best examples over the last few months. Now, there were bigger winners, there were smaller winners, and of course, there were losers too. But since AutoStrike is a tool for traders and not a trading service, the profits and performance will vary among users. So trade at your own risk, and you can go to the TradeWinds homepage if you want more information on that. Now, Chuck is going to be joining us here in just a moment. But first, let me just restate this, guys. There's going to be winners. There's going to be losers. The whole purpose of our research is to give you guys an edge. Our goal is to help you build that account over time. It's not going to be 100% win rate, but as you'll see today, it can have a very, very high likelihood of working out. But never go all in on any single position. You guys know this. Be smart with your investments. Now, my name is Graham Lindman, and I'm the senior options expert here at the Prosperity Pub. And before we get started, I have a quick question for you. Of the 63,192,780 options trading across all of the exchanges right now, 63 million of them, which ones give you the most attractive income opportunities? That's a pretty tough question to answer, right? I didn't even know there's 63 million out there until I did some research, pulled up, I said, holy cow, there are a lot of options to choose from. In fact, I'd argue that there hasn't been a way to answer that question since the inception of the options market. But that's until right now. Because in the next few minutes, my special guest and I will be unlocking a new trading breakthrough that we call AutoStrike. It's a next generation smart algo that automatically scans, selects, and sends you high probability options trade right to your computer or your phone. Now, what makes these automated signals so unique and so much better than most trading methods out there is that this particular income style of trade it's selecting is specifically designed to help us target extra cash in all sorts of market scenarios. I really mean that. It's great when stocks are roaring higher. It's even great when they're flat. And it even works when a stock falls as much as 10% plus in a few weeks. And boy, have we seen that happen lately. That's why this is so amazing right now. It means it doesn't really matter to us if stocks go into a full-on bear market from here or if they rally on to new highs. AutoStrike is designed to only pick options that can withstand a major market storm. And that allows us to trade with a really high accuracy rate while getting maximum bang for the buck. For example, let's go back to November and see what happened. Now, for example's sake, let's say someone had 5K invested. You don't need that much, but this is just for example. And that's how much we'll be referencing with every example unless otherwise stated. Now, in November, folks were very uncertain to say the least. We had the election season. We had Fed interest rate decisions and global conflicts increasing. Now, naturally, the S&P 500 was falling with all of that fear in the headlines. Are you seeing October drifting down, down, down into the month of November? And in the first week of November, the number of put buyers exploded to levels we haven't seen in years. People were scared. They were buying protection on their account. But of course, none of that really mattered because on November 8th, AutoStrike generated a brand new income signal on CART, did it all for you, selected the exact options criteria, the entry price, and the profitability all on its own. And in the case of CART, thanks to AutoStrike's built-in option selection features, this stock could have fallen as much as 13%, and it still would have paid you. Now, funny enough, in this example, the stock actually did take a big tumble that month, like a lot of stocks did, falling just north of 10% on the shares. Now, most folks trading directionally would have been wiped out. We'll call it $5,000 in losses on the options for most people. But with AutoStrike, because it does it all automatically for you and selects these great paying options, folks could have walked away unscathed with an extra $1,154 sitting in the account. Pretty impressive, right? Then anyone could have done it again on the next signal. On November 13th, when AutoStrike generated a new income opportunity on NVIDIA, all done for you. And just like in the last example, with all of the market volatility, NVIDIA was hit pretty hard too, taking an 8.5% nosedive over the next few weeks. Now, most folks trading NVIDIA were probably looking at a big, fat, account sinking loser. No good. But with AutoStrike, it all changes because it handpicks the options for you. Anyone could have pocketed a $1,077 payday during that same time. Now, that's $1,000 in profit during one of the worst times to invest in the stock. That's obviously some really powerful stuff. Now, before you start guessing on what today's opportunity is all about, let me just assure you, AutoStrike is not some sort of short trading indicator that gets you to load up on puts, hoping for another big crash. We're not short trading here. It's not looking for expensive strangle or straddle options combinations that rely on stocks to constantly move in order to pay. That works good in sometimes, but not all market conditions. And unlike most bullish trading strategies, which have been getting decimated in the recent market drop, AutoStrike was specifically programmed to find the exact options that have the power to pay, regardless if stocks are moving higher, lower, or stuck for months, making it the bread and butter trade to take in all sorts of economic climates and political environments. Now, the core framework built into AutoStrike is based on a time-tested method that has dominated over the last 2 decades, with up to 96.2% accuracy on real money trading. Again, not back test, not coulda, woulda, shoulda. 96.2% accuracy on real trading. Now, that includes some trades during the dot-com crash, right? The 2000 dot-com crash, the 2008 financial crisis, even that 2022 nasty bear market that we all remember. That's 25 years in a row without a single down year on record. But now it's even better because starting today, AutoStrike automatically filters through all of the options available, those 63 million options, filters through all of them to handpick the best income opportunities for you. All automated, all in one place. With each automatic alert, including everything you need to trade on the go. It gives you the ticker, the exact options criteria, the entry price, and the full profitability schedule laid out for you. For example, let's take a look at what happened in December. Now, keep in mind, in December, inflation was ramping back up, and the Fed was completely changing their course on rate cuts. And that caused the S&P, the NASDAQ, and the Dow to take one of their worst tumbles of the whole entire year. However, with AutoStrike in your pocket, none of that really mattered. On December 9th, folks could have been out for a morning bicycle ride, checked in at any point during the day to catch the newest income trade on Meta. Again, the options criteria already generated for you. The system does everything for you. And then you could have taken about 2 minutes to set the trade. That's all you needed to do. And in this case, Meta could have gone to the moon, it could have moved sideways, or it could have fallen 10% or more and still paid big. Sure enough, Meta chopped around from there, yet anyone following along could have caught a $1,635 payday, all done for you. Then a few days later, you could have done it again. December 19th, maybe you're out enjoying a round of tennis with friends, and after the match wrapped up, caught the new income opportunity, this one on AVGO, automatically populated with options criteria included. Once again, it didn't matter if AVGO soared to new highs, went nowhere fast, or fell more than 10% over the coming weeks. This time, the stock actually did take a nosedive. There you see the chart's not pretty. But again, that didn't matter one bit. Folks falling AutoStrike could have seen a $1,236 payday. And with AutoStrike, we get these types of automated opportunities over and over again. For example, like the very next one, just one day after the AVGO signal, maybe you're out for an afternoon hike with the family, and when everyone took a water break, pull up the phone, check in, place a new options trade automatically sent right to you. Now, this one was on Palantir with an insane 26% downside protection built in. That means this stock could have fallen from the sky and still paid. Now, with that much wiggle room, folks could have placed a trade with a lot less stress than normal. So you confirm the entry, and then phone is back in the pocket. Now, sure enough, for Palantir, the share price popped higher from there, and folks following along could have pocketed a needle-moving $1,250 on the PLTR position. So if you want to be one of the first in the world to have a behind-the-scenes look at this incredible trading breakthrough, plus access to today's newest income opportunity, all generated for you, then stay tuned. Because by the end of this broadcast, a handful of folks will be able to jump in on the next income opportunity that AutoStrike has already flagged for you to take today. And it will allow you to target what could be the next great payday. So welcome to the world premiere of the AutoStrike Options Summit. Now, like I mentioned a moment ago, my name is Graham Lindman, and you might recognize me from my flagship strategy, the Perfect Apple Trade, which has reached over 100,000 people worldwide. Or maybe you've heard of my famous wrap orders, which has helped folks see doubles in their trading. Now, as much as I'd love to take all of the credit and tell you that I'm a self-made six-figure trader who figured it out all on my own, well, that would simply not be the truth. We all have mentors and coaches along the way. And my trading career really took off about half a decade ago, meeting one-on-one with one of the greatest traders of our lifetime. His name is Chuck Hughes. Now, Chuck got started in the markets back in the 1980s with just $4,600, very small amount. And in his first year of trading, the profits totaled over $69,000. And as his account grew, so did his profits, earning a whopping $391,000 in year two. And since then, Chuck's accomplished quite a lot. Some of the major feats include winning not one, not two, but 10 trading championships with some insane returns there. Audited returns as high as 220%, 300%, and even 330%. Running his live signal services for 25 years straight without a single down year, including 7 major market corrections and crashes. He's made it through them all. But not just that, he's also personally locked in north of $3.4 million in trading profits over recent years. And that's a feat that very few traders have been able to accomplish. And he's used his 40 plus years of trading experience to show countless students around the globe how to reach their trading goals. Ann here from New Jersey said, I started with $16,000 and now my account has grown to more than $62,000. Nice brokerage shot there. Rod W., retired pharmacist, says, I can now spend my time on other things I enjoy. He's up 300 to 400% in just 3 to 6 months with a nice 6-figure profit there for Rod. Or how about Dr. Ted from Indiana? He started with 100K, and in 7 months, with no extra deposits, it was more than double. It went from 100K to 200K, and then it hit $260,000. Great work there, Dr. Ted. Now, those are some of the best stories we've heard from folks following Chuck's work in the past. But today, Chuck is raising the bar. He's doing something he never thought he'd do, something he didn't think could even be possible. Today, he's cutting the ribbon on a brand new smart algo that can automatically select high-paying options and send them right to you over and over again. So, Chuck, it's great to have you on today, and I'm excited to see what you have for us. Why don't you go ahead and take it away from here? Everyone give Chuck a warm, warm welcome.
Hey, Graham, can you hear me okay?
Yep, hear you great.
Okay, great to be here today, folks. And Graham, thank you for that kind introduction. I'm really excited to demonstrate to folks the power of this AutoStrike program today. It's an all-new, next-generation smart algo, unlike anything I've ever seen before in my 40 years of trading. That's because each and every day, it automatically scans, selects, and sends high conviction options trades right to you multiple times per week. Now, today, I'm looking for 199 diligent traders to team up with me in trading this all new breakthrough starting today. Now, of course, I want to be the first to remind folks that, like any strategy, there's bound to be winners and losers along the way. That's just the trading game. So never invest more than you can afford to lose, no matter how exciting the setup may look. Now, with that said, what you're about to see today is not some sort of back-tested or theoretical would have, could have, or should have. Every example I'll share with you today is based on real signals that AutoStrike generated in real time, based on the method that I've been personally using over the last few decades to trade with an incredible 96.2% accuracy on real money trades. So when I say this is a good thing, I really mean it. Now, with all of the uncertainty in the air, the timing for this broadcast could not be better. Over the last few weeks, we've seen traders' accounts get totally wiped out with the global trade war underway, as the stock market took the 5th fastest nosedive on record. But if you think that's bad, get this. Even with the big market drop that we've just had, stocks are still more overvalued than they have ever been. The last time we saw stocks priced at these levels was the 2000s dot-com bubble. Now, here's what came next, a multi-year bear market and a 0% return over the next 8 years. Now, the time before that, the 1970s stagflation, again, that's very similar to today's economy with the high inflation and slow growth. And let's take a look at what happened back in the 70s. 3 major market drops and a 0% return over the next 12 years. Now, I'm old enough to say I lived through that. So I'm not a doomsday guy. I'm not telling you to sell all of your stock. But here's what I do know. Nobody wants to see this happen to their portfolio over the next decade. And nobody can afford to have their account stuck in the mud for the next decade while inflation eats away at the balance. Because even if your account isn't going down, the withdrawals and increasing cost of living can totally destroy retirement dreams. That's why it's so important that you have AutoStrike running for you right now. Because not only can AutoStrike help protect your account against quick drops like we've all experienced lately, but it can also help kick open the door to new income opportunities all on its own. Isolating high probability options that you and I would have to spend hours and hours to find, and then it's sending them right to you. With the power to pay out $500, $1,000, sometimes even $1,500 with a few clicks. For example, let's take a look at what happened with CrowdStrike back in October. Now, if you weren't in love with CrowdStrike stock at the time, I wouldn't have blamed you. The company was still dealing with the fallout of one of the worst online outages in the history of the world. And the stock was trading more than 25% below its highs. Definitely not a stock that most people would have been looking to trade. However, on October 16th, none of that mattered. If you had AutoStrike working for you, automatically scanning the options market on your behalf, you would have seen the CrowdStrike entry signal automatically generated with options criteria and entry price already selected on a silver platter. No extra legwork on your end. Just copy and paste the signal if you like it. And sure enough, anyone who did just that would have seen a big smile with AutoStrike paying $1,337.
Chuck, that's a great result. But folks, we're not done just yet, because on that same exact day, AutoStrike would have actually dealt you another high conviction trade alert as well. This one on Caterpillar, the construction company. Now, of course, AutoStrike would have done the heavy lifting for you, so you didn't need to do any technical analysis, no digging through the fundamentals. There was no need to look at the options chain, nor did you have to pull up the chart at all if you didn't want to. Everything you needed to know to take this income trade would have been automatically dialed up for you by the smart algo, with the high accuracy options opportunities pre-selected for you. So you could have been out on the water, which I know Chuck loves to do, maybe headed to lunch or about to catch an afternoon show. My point is, you could have been anywhere in the world. Just confirm the trade from your phone, and that's it. Now, in the case of Caterpillar, when it all worked out, folks could have cashed in big. Another $1,314 deposited into the account. Thank you, AutoStrike, for picking that one. Now, between those two trades that hit on the same day, that could have been an extra $2,651 sitting in folks' accounts. Now, that's an extra $2,000 that could have gone towards the groceries, the mortgage, or the credit card balance without having to make any extra withdrawals from your long-term portfolio. But as great as that is, it gets even better, because that was only 2 of the 13 winning signals in the month of October. You see them there. And just look at some of these paydays. $1,353 on Netflix, $1,187 on Home Depot, and $1,546 on ServiceNow, and obviously tons more in between. In fact, when you account for all of the October trades, just $2,500 into each would have paid $8,573 in AutoStrike income. Someone twice as confident, starting with maybe twice as much, could have seen 5 figures, $17,147 in AutoStrike income just for that 1 month of October. Now, that could have been enough to cover the groceries and the mortgage and still have enough left over to splurge on tickets to your favorite football team playing for it all. And Chuck, I know you had quite the experience there. So Chuck, why don't you walk through, folks, exactly how AutoStrike works and how anyone can get it running for them today?
Well, Graham, I'd be happy to. Now, as a reminder, folks, not all trades work out. There's winners and losers along the way. That said, we've been able to take these consistent income opportunities with a very high accuracy rate, thanks to a little known phenomenon buried inside the options market. Now, when I say options, most people assume that I'm talking about buying options in hopes that a stock rallies from there. That's how most people trade options. But there's actually a big problem with trading options that way. You see, when Wall Street lists these options and sells them to folks like you and me, they bake in another factor that makes it nearly impossible to consistently win with options. Now, it's called time decay. The way time decay works is the longer you hold one of those options, the more premium your position is losing. So you can be totally right about the direction of a stock, but still lose money on the options, all because of time decay working against you. And even worse, if the stock goes lower or even stays flat, you lose everything. Now, if you're not familiar with options, don't worry. You don't need to understand all this to take advantage of AutoStrike. But I do want to walk you through it because I want you to have that light bulb moment, just like I did years ago. You see, when Wall Street lists options and sells them to you, they want those options to expire worthless. As a matter of fact, one study by the Chicago Mercantile Exchange reported that 76% of options expire worthless. And in another report, a contributing writer at the Financial Post studied options extensively. And he found that up to 90% of all options buyers actually lose money on their trades at expiration, even if they're right about the underlying move. Not very good odds there. And Wall Street intentionally designed it this way because when you lose, of course, they win. So they set you up for failure by jacking up the options prices with aggressive time decay baked into the option. That way, your wins are few and far between, letting Wall Street keep most of the profit. The point here is most investors losing money on options aren't losing because they're always getting the direction wrong, but because the options themselves are rigged with this time value. However, as I'll show you, thanks to a little known phenomenon buried deep in the options market, AutoStrike is able to eliminate almost all of the time decay on our trades, allowing us to get paid when the stock moves higher, lower, or stays stuck for weeks on end. And the best part, since it selects the options on its own, it will even tell us ahead of time just how low a stock could go and still pay us. Meaning we always know our odds before we ever place the trade. For example, let's take a look at what happened in January. Going into the new year, things were not looking pretty as the market momentum was starting to slow down. Meanwhile, hedge funds were dumping shares at the fastest pace in recent history. However, on January 21st, folks would have been pinged with the new income opportunity automatically generated by AutoStrike. And as always, AutoStrike would have already generated the ticker, the entry price, the exact options criteria, and just how far that stock could drop and still pay you a great return. Now, in this case, it was a 13.4% buffer. Now, you could have listened to the noise from the news and all the headlines, which are overwhelming nowadays, and you would have missed out completely as your money earned you nothing. Or folks could have taken a quick minute to set the trade on NET and then walked away. Over the next few weeks, the stock sputtered around, going nowhere fast. Now, most folks trading options would have probably coughed up at least a 50% loss due to that time decay. But thanks to AutoStrike automatically selecting options where the time decay is almost completely eliminated, you could have pocketed $1,202 during the same time.
Chuck, I'm pretty sure everyone here would love to have booked an extra $1,202 in income that week, especially with how bad inflation has been over the last few years. We've seen these headlines. It's forced retirees to head back to work. Many people have been forced to pick up second jobs, while the savings accounts have been dropping to record lows. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I would personally much rather click a few buttons here than sit at a desk for an extra 20 hours a week, especially when AutoStrike is doing all the heavy lifting to find these options for me. I don't have to do anything on my own. Ones that can still pay even when a stock goes nowhere, like you showed here with the net example. So, Chuck, you have to give us more information. You mentioned that AutoStrike is selecting these options in a way that practically eliminates all the time decay that typically eats up accounts. So I'm sure some folks are wondering, is this maybe some form of a credit spread? Maybe you're selling naked puts here to capture premium?
No, we're not selling credit spreads or naked puts here or anything like that. Those can be great strategies to use for high win rates, but in my experience, you hold a lot of risk for a very little return. Now, one loser can wipe out your whole account, and that just doesn't sit well with me. Instead, I like it when high probability trades and great returns cross paths like they do here. Now, the key to these lucrative income trades is all thanks to a phenomenon hiding in the options market, specifically with deep in the money options. These are the options where the strike price is way below the current price of the stock. The options that are already very profitable. Now, most folks have no clue, but because these options are so far in the money, the time decay premiums are nearly completely eliminated, meaning we don't need to bank on a stock to make a big move or move in a short period of time to start making money. And we don't have to worry about Wall Street jacking up the price of the option well over its fair market value. That's why legendary hedge fund managers like Bill Ackman and Carl Icahn regularly use these types of options to grow their portfolios. Even Nancy Pelosi loves these deep in the money options because the winning percentage is so much better than trading the normal at the money call options. But the unfortunate truth is most folks will never touch these types of options because oftentimes they are very expensive. Not everyone feels comfortable shelling out $3,000, $4,000, sometimes even $10,000 for a single trade contract. And that's what keeps most people away from these highly profitable options. But luckily, with AutoStrike, you don't need to fork over $5,000 plus to take these trades. Thanks to a new way to twist these options into a more income-based approach, we're able to take these high probability trades with right around $500 to $750 per contract. And if that's not good enough for you, get this. Because of the way AutoStrike automatically selects the options, I believe we're actually able to get a much higher win rate than even Ackman or Icahn can with their style of trading. In fact, when AutoStrike filters through the millions of options available and then picks one to send to us, it sets up the trade in a very specific way that will pay us as long as the stock stays above our strike price. We don't have to worry about time decay. We don't have to worry about a stock drifting sideways. And we can repeatedly target $500, $1,000, sometimes even more, even if a stock tumbles hard. Now, for example, let's take a look at the very next trade that AutoStrike Smart Algo would have sent you. This one was on January 29th with Fortinet. As always, AutoStrike would have sent you the ticker, the exact options criteria, the entry price, in this example, $388 per contract, and the break-even price, or in other words, how far a stock could fall and still pay us a handsome profit. In this case, Fortinet could have fallen as much as 15.5% over the course of the trade, and it still would have paid us. Now, to show you visually just how good that is, let's pull up a chart of that stock just so you can see how large that buffer room is for yourself. Fortinet could have gone to the moon, it could have chopped around sideways, and it could have fallen as much as 15% and still pay us north of $1,000 on that position. In this example, Fortinet actually did end up trading lower from here, but it never came close to the break-even price. And anyone following along could have captured another nice payout, and this time it was $1,443 in extra income.
Chuck, that's really amazing. And folks, it was the same story with the Howmet Aerospace trade on February 11th of this year. Again, AutoStrike would have automatically sent you the ticker. It would have generated the specific options criteria for you, the entry price to pay, in the break-even price, letting you know that HWM could have fallen as much as 11.7% and still paid. Again, let's show you how good those odds are by taking a look at the chart. HWM, it could have gone up, down, or flat, but as long as it didn't crash 11% or more, you were golden. And in this case, HWM never got anywhere near that price. And anyone who clicked a few buttons to set their trade when AutoStrike automatically generated this new income position for you could have bagged another winner, $1,225 in this case. And keep in mind that you didn't have to manually go out and source this trade for yourself. Each alert includes everything you should need to trade on the go. So no more headaches staring at confusing chart patterns, no more forcing low probability trades. AutoStrike does all the heavy lifting for you without ever breaking a sweat.
That's exactly right, Graham. And my team and I intentionally designed it that way. I never wanted to take a trade in a way that has me strapped to the desk all day long. That just doesn't fit with my lifestyle. I'd much rather spend my time with the family, hiking the beautiful mountains in California and the volcanoes in Hawaii, or checking some items off the bucket list. Now, of course, you can't just blindly pick any option to make this happen. If it was that easy, everyone would already be doing it by now. Actually, finding these types of opportunities, it's a bit of a grueling process. For starters, there's thousands of stocks out there to filter through to find a viable setup. And then on top of that, there's literally millions of options to click through. I think earlier, Graham, you mentioned 63 million. So you have to find the appropriate liquidity, premiums, and profitability to get that risk to reward that we're looking for here. Finding these trades can oftentimes feel like finding a needle in a haystack. One small mistake on the option selection and the whole opportunity is completely blown. And I've seen really smart people struggle over and over again just from making one teeny tiny mistake in their option selection. That's why I automated the whole thing, taking all of the guesswork out of it. I work relentlessly with the programmers to get the trading engine built into AutoStrike running just right, based on the same rules that I've used for decades now. But now it's able to do even more than I ever thought possible, automatically scouring through the endless options available to isolate the best income opportunities with the highest odds of working out. And that's something that no human can really do by hand. Once it runs through all of the options available, it then does a stress test on them to make sure that they can withstand a major market drop. AutoStrike will validate the signal automatically on its own, so there's no guessing on what you need to do. And when we get all the green lights, AutoStrike will send it right to you. That way, every time you check in and see the newest entry alert, you know it's a high conviction income signal that's already been sourced and vetted by AutoStrike. Then, if you like, you can simply copy and paste the options to take the trade, and your job is done. For example, like the trade on IBM, December 11th, AutoStrike flagged the new income opportunity on IBM. It would have sourced the ticker, the entry price, and the options criteria. But not just that, it also ran a stress test on the strike prices to verify the position could withstand a major market drop, where we know for a fact that we will win even if the stock goes soaring to new highs, gets stuck chopping sideways, or even takes a tumble, as long as it stays above the strike price. Multiple winning scenarios across the board. You got to love that. So folks could have taken a moment to copy the options and set up the income trade on IBM, then fired it off. And when it all worked out, $1,691 profit in IBM.
Chuck, this smart algo is next level stuff. Not only does it do all of the heavy lifting for you, searching through the countless options out there to find a needle in a haystack, but then it also verifies the resiliency of the trade before it ever sends it to you. And here's what's really cool. If it's not a winning scenario across the board, AutoStrike automatically tosses the trade out of the window. That removes the low probability trades and even the medium probability trades automatically for us. And it only generates the trades that the calculation finds to have the best chances of success, ones that show winning scenarios in every situation tested. For example, like with CBRE in November. As always, the stock and options criteria generated for you and laid out in an easy to follow alert. The entry price done for you as well, in this case, $385 per contract. And the break even price giving us at least a 10% plus of buffer room. And the options already stress tested to work on multiple different stock scenarios, up, down, or flat, winning outcomes across the board like you mentioned. Now, had you taken just a few minutes to set the trade when AutoStrike sent you the income signal, you could have come back to $1,493 from this payday.
And Graham, we get these opportunities over and over again, like with Netflix back in August. All of the entry criteria automatically generated and sent to you by AutoStrike. Profitability schedule fully stress test and verified for a high likelihood of working out. It's a win-win-win, as I like to say. And anyone who followed along could have hit another great winner even as Netflix was stalled out. And I can show you hundreds of examples just like this, because with AutoStrike, the opportunity is virtually endless.
Well, Chuck, I have to say, this is exactly what folks need right now. Whether you believe that the markets are heading lower from here or back to all-time highs, it really doesn't matter. That's because AutoStrike has been able to take some of the worst market drops and turn them into a treasure trove of income opportunities. For example, like in July and August, I think a lot of people here remembered this, the S&P 500 was dropping into correction territory, falling more than 10%. Now, during that time, folks could have bagged not one, not two, but 10 winners with AutoStrike, including $1,266 on PanW, $1,337 on Spotify, and even $1,573 on American Express. All in all, that could have totaled up to an incredible $13,315 in extra income over that terrible time in the markets. Now, again, not all trades work out this well, but we want to demonstrate what is possible with AutoStrike. So how about the most recent crash? I saw we had some questions in the chat. How did it work over this recent crash? Well, we've had the tariff news, global threats, slowing economy, and stocks crashing, actually crashing 20% from the highs. Now, most folks saw their accounts plummet, and a lot of folks fearing that even the regular withdrawals from the retirement account could completely dismantle their future. But with AutoStrike working for you, handpicking the options with the highest likelihood of working out, you could have pocketed some extra income to get through these tough times. Just look at the 9 trades that would have paid out in March alone. That's an extra $9,166 in income over that stretch. Not bad while the markets were falling from the sky. Now, even if you only took half of the trade, you still would have been very well off, about $4,500 for the month. And of course, this obviously works great too when markets are going up. Now, Chuck, I can't wait to get AutoStrike in the hands of the folks tuning into this broadcast right now.
Graham, me either. And I think AutoStrike is about to go on a massive run, unlike anything we've seen in years. With a big portion of this crazy market downside already baked in, I think there's more upside than downside potential over the next year. I wouldn't be shocked if AutoStrike won the next 10 trades in a row. Heck, while we can't promise any future outcomes nor protect against losses, I wouldn't be shocked if AutoStrike won the next 20 in a row. But luckily, it doesn't matter to me if stocks go soaring higher from here. That's because AutoStrike allows us to trade with a very high level of confidence, knowing that these picks are designed to pay even if stocks continue to dive lower. And today, I'd like to invite folks out there to join me in unlocking this powerful, smart algo for themselves. In fact, I'm looking for 199 diligent traders to team up with me in this all-new breakthrough today. Now, it doesn't matter if you're retired, still working a 9-to-5 job, if you're in college, or maybe if you're a full-time mom. As long as you have an internet connection, a brokerage account, and a few minutes each week, you can set up AutoStrike to automatically send you high win rate opportunities targeting $500, $1,000, and sometimes even more every day right from the palm of your hand. Today, I'd like to invite you to take one of these 199 spots and access the all-new AutoStrike. Now, for those of you who are ready to take the limited spots allowed at today's deal, let me quickly walk you through everything you can expect as a member. And then we'll post the link to join. Now, I wouldn't be shocked if spots fill up in the first 10 minutes, so be ready, folks. Now, each and every day, AutoStrike will be constantly running and searching through the options markets for you. No code or download necessary. When it finds a new income opportunity with the verified profitability schedule, it will automatically post the specific entry criteria in the online portal. Each automatic alert includes everything you need to trade on the go, with the ticker, the exact options criteria, the entry price, and full profit potential laid out for you. This smart algo is next level, sourcing through literally millions of options, doing something that no human could possibly do by hand, and then delivering you the trade on a silver platter. Now, the algo typically posts the newest entry for the day in the morning, and that entry is valid for the whole day. So as long as you can check in before the markets close, you are good to go. Now, my goal is to get 199 new traders up and running with AutoStrike at an extremely discounted price today. Hopefully get a few dozen winning trades under your belt in the next few weeks, and some powerful testimonies as well. That way, when we do bring it back to the public at a much higher price, we'll have endless stories to share of the members' success.
Chuck, I can't wait to hear from the members once they get their hands on AutoStrike today. I mean, we've already heard so many good stories from your top students in the past across your various programs. Like Jerry here from California said, using what I learned from Chuck, my investments made $136,000. It's 11 weeks there and annualizing to over 200% per year on his active investment accounts. And my trades are continuing to succeed even in this crazy market. How about Deb from Florida? Above is a screenshot of this year's gains. It's a game changer, just saying. There you see here, E-Trade account up $100,000 on the year. And then there's James and Patricia, maybe one of the best stories I've ever seen. He said, we've never been as successful as we have been following Chuck and his family. After starting with about $5,900, we saw $212,000 in profits.
Well, Graham, I want to see 199 more stories just like those starting today. And if you take one of the limited membership spots available today, I want to show you how to get there even faster. Now, of course, for the 199 new members today, I'm going to immediately grant you access to the Getting Started guide my team and I just finished and posted in the members portal. This will walk you through everything you need to know to get going with AutoStrike options today. And if you need any assistance, our US-based customer support team is standing by to answer any related questions you might have. In my opinion, following along with these automated signals is no tougher than riding a bike or shooting a layup. I could even teach my granddaughter to do it, and she could get the hang of it really quick. But if you want to see the success that we've seen so far from these signals, you have to use options. Now, I know that not everyone here has used options before, and that's okay. I'm also going to include a step-by-step walkthrough on how to use options, plus how to upgrade your brokerage to make it even easier to tap into these income opportunities. Now, again, even if you're new to options, I bet after 1 or 2 trades, you can totally get the hang of it. After that, it's smooth sailing, smooth sailing from there. Now, there's one final upgrade I want to include for today's new members, and it takes the value to a whole new level. Listen, my team and I work endlessly to get AutoStrike up and running on its own, selecting stocks and options automatically with a very high likelihood of paying out. And now that it's all polished up and running like a well-oiled machine, I've made one final tweak to it.
And folks, this is big. This is really big.
I've just finished another upgrade to AutoStrike. So now it will send you a new income signal every single day. That means each day of the week, you can check in and grab the hottest new signal right away, all vetted and verified by the system. For example, like on January 14th, 2025, with the new income trade on ISRG, you could have come back to an extra $1,208 sitting in your account. Then the next day, January 15th, on ticker CLS. This time it could have been a healthy $1,363 added to your account. And like I said, we now get these types of automated opportunities over and over again every single day. For example, like the next day, January 16th, 2025, a $1,226 opportunity on Meta. Now, of course, you don't need to take every trade if you don't want to. That said, I wanted to make sure that you always have an ample amount of income opportunities coming your way. That way, you don't have to worry if you miss a trade or take a week off for vacation. You'll always have a constant stream of income opportunities coming your way.
Chuck, this is really, really remarkable. First off, on those 3 back-to-back examples, that would have been $3,798 in income that folks could have generated after only 3 days of trades. And now you're saying that you're automatically upgrading the folks who joined today to get a new signal every single day. Now, in my opinion, that takes the value up 5x. Now, I have to admit, I've seen tools that can pick up on good stocks to buy and sell and give folks entries on that, right? But I've never seen a tool that's so powerful that it can actually pick the options for you, let alone at this incredibly high hit rate. So I have to imagine access to AutoStrike will probably cost a pretty penny. I'm thinking maybe $15,000 or at least $10,000 for a tool this powerful.
Well, Graham, I firmly believe we could probably charge double that amount and have no problem getting new members on board. But my goal here isn't to charge the new members as much as possible. It's to give them as many winning opportunities as possible. So for the first 199 folks in the door today, it's not going to be $10,000 to join. Now, bonus number 1 is half off for new members. I'm going to drop the price of your first year from $9,997 all the way down to $4,997, making it much more affordable to target these repeatable income opportunities. And then I'm going to cut the price again. Bonus number 2, the final discount for the first 199 new members in the door who take action today. I'm going to cut the already discounted price from $4,997 per year all the way down to $1,895 for instant access. And today, if you're one of those 199 folks who take action, you'll get the savings plus access to the new alerts right away. After those 199 spots fill up, this deal will no longer be available. My publisher will either increase the price or take it off the internet altogether. You do not want to miss out on this, folks, on this brand new trading breakthrough, automatically generating high conviction income trades every single day.
Folks, Chuck is right. With an offering this good and a brand new smart algo this powerful, plus the virtually endless amounts of opportunity and the thousands of dollars in savings today, these 199 spots, they're going to fly off the shelves. In fact, we had some go off the shelves while we were giving this presentation. So we're now under that number. If you're the 200th person trying to join, you're going to be too late. So don't delay, because access to AutoStrike will be first come, first serve. If you're ready to take the next step and unlock a full year of access for pennies on the dollars, then here comes that link in the chat. Raleigh just posted it. You can click that link in the chat right now, or go to tradewinds.com/199. Be one of those first 199 members in the door today. And if you want to, you can call the team at 828-318-8810. Again, guys, only 199 founding members allowed at today's special price. And remember, Chuck included that automatic upgrade where you now get new trades every single day. So don't worry about taking every single one, but you don't have to sweat if you miss one, or if you're on vacation for a week. A constant stream of income opportunities will be coming your way with AutoStrike. Again, lock in that discount right now by clicking that link in the chat or going to tradewinds.com/199. And we have tons of people in here today. I want to be shocked if by the time we get to the Q&A here at the end and open up the questions in the chat, if spots are already gone. Now, all of the details of your new AutoStrike membership are on the next page. When you join as one of the first 199 founding members, you will automatically save half off the retail price, plus an extra $3,000 plus in one-time savings. This is a special for the ribbon cutting event. Do not miss this rock bottom price to unlock the all-new AutoStrike Smart Algo today. I'd hate for you to have to pay more when those 199 founding member spots are gone. So click that link in the chat or give us a call to secure your founding membership discount right now. Again, if you guys join today, we still have time. You can go and enter today's new pick if you'd like to. They're posted every single day. You just check in and you get the pick with the options criteria already included.
Now, Graham, before we open up the chat and answer some questions, I have an important announcement to make. For a very limited time, I'm offering a special bonus for the most dedicated students. Once you click the link in the chat, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's a special 2-year deal where you can get an extra year of AutoStrike for only $300 extra, meaning you can instantly save 85% on your second year of access by claiming that additional discount today. However, this is a very limited time offer, and it will not be available for long.
Guys, click that link in the chat, tradewinds.com/199, or give us a call, 828-318-8810 to get started. Now, I'm just going to ask you guys in the chat, when you're signed up, give me a yes in the chat so we get an idea of how many of these spots are already off the board, and I know that they're going to go quick. Again, we had some go off the board while we were in the middle of the presentation. We didn't even get to this point yet, so spots are flying off the shelves. We got a yes. We got a yes, yes, yes. Lots of yeses across the board today. Let's go.
So I love picturing what AutoStrike can do for you over the next year, and I can't wait to get it into your hands. Look, I've been actively trading for over 4 decades now. I've traded through crashes, bubbles, booms, and everything in between. I've won the trophies, I hit millions in profits, gave tons away, and I even published my own book. But just like anyone at this time in their career, at some point, I'll be ready to retire and move on from the public eye. I've got more life to live, kids and grandkids to spend time with, more countries to explore, and expeditions ahead of me. My point is, I won't be doing this forever. And that's why I called my team for an all-hands-on-deck project to create AutoStrike. Not only did I want to automate my best performing trading strategy, making my life much easier than ever before, and the trades even more effective, but I also wanted to build a legacy for my family and a legacy for yours too. I wanted to build the most powerful trading tool that this world has ever seen. Something that my kids could use to target extra income from the stock market for years and years to come without the pain of trial and error. And something they could pass on to their kids too. And what would be better to pass on than a fully automated trading engine that scans, selects, and sends high conviction options trades right to your computer or phone each and every day? That's why today I want to offer you the same chance to build a legacy for your loved ones too. Graham, why don't we walk them through this final must have bonus?
Chuck, I would be love to. And guys, this is really, really important. Folks, once you take one of the 199 spots available today and click that button to submit to your membership, do not exit that next page. Don't refresh. Don't hit the back button. That's because on that next page, you're going to get a very special invite to upgrade your subscription to Legacy Lifetime Access. And there's a few implications with this. First off, you're going to save thousands of dollars on fees. You see, at the current annual cost, after only 5 years of using AutoStrike, you'll be close to $10,000 in membership fees. However, when you upgrade to Legacy Lifetime status today, it's not going to run you anything near that. In fact, it won't even be half of that cost. Now, please note that with this one-time charge today, you'll never have to pay a renewal fee again, no maintenance charges, no hidden fees. Just a one-time payment, and you can gain unfiltered access to AutoStrike for years and years to come. But that's only just the beginning, because as a Legacy Lifetime member, you will also get upgraded access to share your login information with up to 5 family members or friends, and they too can enjoy the lifetime access of AutoStrike. Remember, Chuck built AutoStrike to build a legacy for his kids and his grandkids too. Now, this is your opportunity to do the same thing and build a legacy for your loved ones. So today, you can lock them in for a lifetime access for them so that they can learn AutoStrike to find new income opportunities for them in the future. Now, in my opinion, this is a must-have upgrade for anyone who would love to help their kids or other family members help level up in the stock market and hopefully in their financial future as well. However, this is really important. We can only guarantee 50 Legacy Lifetime spots a day. Once we hit that number, it's up to the publisher on what to do next with the lifetime price. So the question is, are you ready to leave a lifetime legacy? Will you be one of the first in the door today to upgrade to lifetime legacy access? Well, you have to start by claiming your founding membership first, and then you can upgrade from there on the next page. Guys, click that link in the chat to get started, or go to tradewinds.com/199. Or if you'd like to speak with the person, I saw we had some chats in here. So people may be having trouble with the buying link. We may have so many people already ordering that we're getting close to that limit. If you're having trouble with your order, give us a call, 828-318-8810. They'll get you taken care of. And remember, you'll want to join right now because that newest trade is in the members portal for you, already automatically generated by AutoStrike. Now, remember the opportunity today. AutoStrike is the only trading tool that I know of that's able to automatically pick options designed to pay regardless if stocks go higher, they go flat, or lower. And it does it without you needing to lift a finger. If it's not a winning scenario across the board, AutoStrike automatically tosses out the window. That removes the low probability and even the medium probability trades for you. We only want the ones with the best chances of success. The ones that show winning scenarios in every situation tested, the win-win-wins across the board. For example, like with CBRE in November, AutoStrike selected the stock and the options criteria generated for you in an easy-to-follow alert. In this case, it was $385 per contract and a break-even price, giving us 10% plus of buffer room. And the options were already stress tested to work on multiple different stock scenarios, whether it went up, down, or flat, winning outcomes across the board. Now, had you taken a few minutes to set the trade when AutoStrike sent you the income signal, you could have come back to $1,493 from that income position. Or like with Netflix in August, that was a terrible time to be invested in stocks, but AutoStrike is already filtering the best income opportunities for you. So it sent the trade alert details. It sent the profitability schedule, fully stress tested and verified for a high likelihood of working out. It's a win-win-win, as we like to say. And anyone who followed along could have hit another great winner, even as Netflix was stalled out from there. So don't miss on today's new income alerts, guys. Click that link in the chat to get started. And again, don't forget, you're getting upgraded to a new entry alert every day. And once you take your membership, if you're one of the first 199 in the door today on that next page, you can upgrade to Legacy Lifetime Access. That's a small group of people who are going to be able to get the lifetime access for a one-time payment plus multi-access login criteria.
Now, Graham, I firmly believe that this is exactly what everyone needs right now. Whether you believe the markets are heading lower from here or back to all-time highs, all of that really doesn't matter. That's because AutoStrike has been able to take some of the worst market drops and turn them into a treasure trove of income opportunities. For example, back in July and August, when the S&P was heading into correction territory, it was dropping 10%. Folks could have bagged not one, not two, but 10 winners with AutoStrike, including $1,371 on Carvana, $1,258 on Costco, and $1,201 on XBI. And all in all, that could have totaled up to an incredible $13,315 in extra income, all while the market was dropping. Or how about the most recent crash, tariff news, global threats, slowing economy, and stocks crashing actually more than 20% at one point? Most folks saw their accounts plummet. A lot of folks fearing that even irregular withdrawals from their retirement account could completely dismantle their future. But with AutoStrike working for you, handpicking the options with the highest likelihood of working out, you could have pocketed some extra income to get you through these tough times. Just look at the 9 trades that would have paid out in March alone. That's an extra $9,166 in income over that stretch. Now, even if you only took half of those trades, you would still be very well off. And of course, it obviously works great too when markets are going up. AutoStrike is the pinnacle of my 40-year trading career, all automated, all in one place. And if there's only one trading tool or program you have, I highly suggest you make it this one.
Guys, click that link to get started today with AutoStrike. And I've already seen in the chat, tons and tons of people have already taken these spots. I'm sure they're filling up quickly. Just to clarify, guys, you don't have to go type in a ticker. You don't have to go find your own stock to trade here. AutoStrike automatically filters through all the stocks out there, all the options out there, and finds a needle in a haystack type of opportunity, one that most people will overlook and never see. But it finds it and it dials it all up for you. It stress tests the options to prove that it works in all sorts of market climates, and then you can just take the trade if you like. So click that link in the chat to get started. And some of you guys are saying you're having issues with your orders. Give us a call, guys. 828-318-8810. I have to imagine we're getting so many hits on the membership checkout page that the page may be running a bit slow. So if that's you, give us a call and we will honor your spot. Now, Chuck, really quick before we open the chat, and we're going to answer your guys' questions here in the chat, so don't go anywhere. Let me answer a few common questions or ask you some. Chuck, do I need to install something to use AutoStrike?
No, there's no code or downloads or install needed. Once you take one of the limited memberships today, you will be sent a secure username and password to the new members portal where you can easily access today's new entry right from your computer, tablet, or cell phone anywhere in the world. So there is no download. You just need to log on to the website to get the trades.
That's awesome. So you guys can access it from anywhere in the world. Now, if I'm a beginner, is AutoStrike a good fit for me?
Absolutely. AutoStrike gives you a big edge with clear and structured entry alerts with everything you should need to know to set up trades. If I were to start my trading career over from scratch today, joining AutoStrike is the first thing that I would do.
I would too, because it just does everything for you and you can really get started even if you're just brand new. Now, does AutoStrike give me both the stock ticker and the exact options criteria for placing a trade, or do I have to go find the options myself?
Yes, this smart algo is the first of its kind where it's able to source the exact options to own for optimal results. There's no extra legwork on your end, and it gives you the profit amount if you want to set an exit target early, and I'll cover this in the
Perfect. So it'll tell you the profitability before time. If you want to hold it for that full profit, you can. If you guys want to exit early for a partial profit along the way, Chuck's going to teach you exactly how to do that. Now, how much does the average trade cost?
Well, on average, the usual entry cost is about $5 or $500 per contract, or in other words, $500 per trade. Now, with all that said, it could range with some as low as $300 and others that are $700 plus. Now, the good news is that there is no shortage of entries. So if you don't like one or two and you think it's too expensive, you can just totally pass on the trade.
That's perfect. And remember, guys, it's giving you a new one every single day. So it's not like you have to take everyone. If you're starting out with a smaller account, which is totally perfect for this, you can just take the cheaper entries. Now, do I need a huge account to trade this?
No, this isn't day trading. So you don't have to worry about that $25,000 rule. And unlike deep in the money options that could run you as much as $5,000 to $10,000 per position, these trades are only about 1/10 of that cost. So you don't need a big account.
Awesome. Now, what if I have questions about how to get started with AutoStrike?
Well, I'm going to immediately grant you access to the Getting Started guide my team and I just finished and posted in the members portal. This will walk you through everything you need to know to get going with the AutoStrike options today.
That's awesome. And you are going to have master classes too, right, Chuck?
Yes, absolutely. This Thursday, we're going to have a master class for our new members.
Awesome. So you guys can join Chuck live, ask him any question you have. Now, of course, that's for the members only. It's not going to be for everyone. It's going to be for the first 199 members here.
And if you need any assistance, our US-based customer support team is standing by to answer any questions you might have. If for some reason you don't love AutoStrike, you'll have 7 days to call our team, and in the rare chance we cannot help you out, we'll refund you every penny of your membership cost, and it's just that easy.
Perfect. So you have their back. Now, what about exits, Chuck?
Well, AutoStrike also gives you the potential profit from the trade, so you always know the exit you can shoot for.
And of course, guys, in the master classes, he's going to show you how you can set an early profit target if you'd like to just set it and forget it. I know some of you guys really like that. He's got you covered there. Now, Chuck, is there anything else we should know?
Well, actually, Graham, I do have another free bonus for the first 199 members in the door today. This is a surprise bonus.
Ooh, interesting.
Originally, my team wanted me to program AutoStrike to only give you one income signal per day. That way, we could sell a more elite version of it down the road with 2 to 3 entries per day and charge 2 to 3 times as much. Well, we may still do that, and the price would likely be $4,995 per year, and I might say worth every penny. But if you take one of the 199 spots today, you're going to get grandfathered into the elite version of the AutoStrike for free. Meaning, starting today, you can get up to 3 income signals sent to you, options criteria included, from AutoStrike each day. And if we launch the $4,995 version in the future, you won't have to pay an extra penny. You'll be grandfathered in.
That is amazing, guys. And that's all the more reason to take one of the legacy lifetime spots today. So your subscription timer doesn't run out and you miss out on this grandfathered access. Guys, click that link in the chat right now to sign up for AutoStrike. We'll get an update here from the team in just a moment, but I know that we have tons of spots off the board. And again, there's new trades waiting for you today. Now let's pop into the chat, Chuck, and answer some questions for folks here in the room. And again, I'm going to leave this slide up so you can always see the link to join or who to call. Awesome. Now, how did they receive the alert? Guys, the alert will be posted for you each and every morning in the portal. It's automatically generated by AutoStrike every morning, so you can check in the morning, you can check in at lunch, you can check in the afternoon. It will be posted for you. What percent are winning trades and what percent are losing trades? Well, Ron, this is a software that picks all of the options for you. Chuck has personally been able to take them with a very, very high win rate. But of course, that'll be up to you and which ones you take or which ones you pass on. The phone line seems to have a very long wait, Maybe leave our name and email to get in as one of the 195. Good question, Sandra. Guys, post your name and email if you want to save your spot. Now, of course, I can't actually promise that we're going to have spots left by the end of this. I apologize. I understand that the phone team is booked. But guys, if you are wanting to get in right now, just click that link in the chat and sign yourself up right now while the phone team is still working through all the calls. Barbara's on hold too. Yeah, guys, I apologize for the long line on the phones. We're working through them all right now. Lewis doesn't have a guarantee yet. Chuck's giving you 7 days to try it out, and if after that you don't love it, you can call in. But I think you guys are going to love it when you see that this thing is doing everything for you. I mean, how many of you guys have seen a tool that can pick options for you? And it's not just blindly picking options based on tickers you might see or someone else tells you about. No, this is going through vetting the stock. And then there's going to be a couple stocks that pass that first vetting process. And then it's going to sort through all the different options of each of those and find the ones with the best odds of working out. Today's trade, Salio, today's trade will be in the members area once you get your login. When will we get the login? Guys, we have a ton of people joining right now. I'm sure the system is processing everything at the moment. Give it 5-10 minutes for that login to hit your email, and then you'll be able to see today's newest entry. Oh, there you go. Robert's in. He's already made 2 trades today. I love it, Robert. Good stuff. No, you don't need to download Telegram, guys. This is it's on an internet browser, so you can access it from your phone, computer, laptop. You can be anywhere in the world. You could be on an airplane and go just log in and see the newest trade alert from the day. Robert, are the examples using one contract or multiple contracts? It was based on just a fixed starting stake. Now, let me just go back here and I'll just show you guys. Because like Chuck said, they're going to be different entry prices, but $393, that's very cheap. This one's $1,600. Maybe you pass on Netflix and take the next one, $700, $388. So you guys can see the various different entry prices there. All in all, though, with all those trades, it looks really, really, really good. Do you need to connect a broker so the trades are automated? Paulo, you can use any brokerage you prefer. You just log into the portal. It'll give you the exact options to take, and then you can just copy and paste them over to your brokerage account. David, I'm not so sure on that. Solo's an awesome. Okay, Beth, we will have you taken care of. She said that she had an issue with the page, but it said it went through on her credit card. Beth, give us a call, and they might be able to walk you through. And again, I say give us a call, but I heard that the team is totally swamped with calls right now. Chuck, do you know what the average hold time is here?
Average hold time is 3 to 4 weeks, sometimes more, sometimes
awesome. And that's
less.
just the secret sauce, guys, behind this high win rate, high probability trade. RV Hannings, no one is answering my question about the cost of lifetime. I'm not exactly sure what it's at. Raleigh, do you mind jumping in here and giving us some feedback on the lifetime? I actually am not sure exactly what that is.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you sign up for the 1-year program for $18.95, which Chuck is an amazing price, another page will pop up and give you the option to upgrade to lifetime. Now, the upsell price is $2,995. So you add $29.95 to $18.95, and you will have this program for lifetime. And that means, once again, you'll never pay another penny for this system. So it's tremendous cost savings for you, in particular using it over time. But what's really amazing to me is that Chuck is granting you 5 additional licenses. So once you get the lifetime, you can share it with a son, a daughter, your wife, a friend, up to 5 different licenses, and each one of those is lifetime. And Chuck, that's just so generous of you to do that, but I know you said that's how you want to get this in the hands of as many people as possible.
Yes, this is my legacy, Raleigh.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, folks, whether you go with the 1-year program or the 2-year program or the lifetime program, it's all backed by a 7-day money-back guarantee. There's an awful lot of things that you can do with this program in 7 days. Chuck's convinced you're going to love it. But for whatever reason, if you're not satisfied with it, he and his team will refund every penny of your investment, regardless of which selection that you make.
Awesome. Ray, if you're having an issue on the page, give the team a call. Does anyone know, are the phones able to, are you still on hold or are they getting through now? Looks like Glenn is in. Jeffson, John, Anthony, Barbara, Miranda, Fred, Hector, Anthony. Awesome, guys. There are just tons and tons of people joining today. Very exciting. Again, some of you guys have already taken the trades. Awesome. Thank you, David. Rich says he's been on hold for over 20 minutes. Hopefully, Rich, were you able to click the link in the chat and get started there? John's still on hold. Yes, Dan. Shannon's asking what time of day did the alerts come out? They're normally posted sometime in the morning. Chuck, do you know the exact time roughly what they'll be posted in the morning from AutoStrike? Obviously, you don't want to send it to you right at 9:30 because so much can change at the market open.
Yes, yeah, it's usually within an hour or two of the market open.
Gotcha. Awesome. We're getting some people saying they're getting errors on the page.
Yeah, I just, for whatever it's worth, I just clicked on the link and it went right through for me, but maybe that's just me.
Yeah, James. Yeah, interesting. Well, guys, we promise we'll get you taken care of. We want to make sure everyone here who is taking action today gets the spot honored as well.
Yeah. And if you're unsure, folks, once again, don't get frustrated. Just leave your name and your phone number here with us, and we'll have, Chuck's customer service team is going to give you a call, and we'll make sure that we answer your questions and we'll process your order over the phone. So I know a lot of people, Chuck, are just concerned that they're going to miss out on the special pricing. So I think if they get their name and their phone number in here, we'll get that right over to the sales team so it can be
Yeah,
managed.
and Raleigh, I see here you posted in the chat here the pricing structure for the 1 year, the 2 year, and then the 7-day money back guarantee. So any questions on the pricing, folks, just look at Raleigh's post there. He has all the details.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right, Raleigh, well, why don't you catch us up to speed? I know we had a lot of chats here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there were I think, so there were some questions there, Chuck, once again, as to what type of option, what level options do people need to have to be able to take advantage of this, Chuck? Some people were wondering, are these sophisticated things? Are these naked options? Are these credit spreads? Is it level 1, level 2, that type of a thing?
Yes, it's usually level 2 or 3. These are not naked puts, and they're not credit spreads.
Okay. Very, very straightforward there. And folks, once again, just want to remind everybody that this is the first ever time that Chuck is being made this available. So this is a premier event, which is exciting from that standpoint, but it's not like it just came out of the out of the workshop yesterday. As I mentioned in my introduction, this is 40 years in the making. As Chuck said, this is his legacy. 40 years of trading have culminated in this package, this automated system that went, that now has the capability to generate 2 to 3 trades per day. And Chuck, I know there's a massive amount of work that went into programming this. And of course, these are real time. So, I mean, you're accessing data and information in real time. You're crunching it. You're running it through a series of filters, and your system, your algo, is only presenting those that meet your very strict criteria.
Yes, and the trade selection process that the algo uses, of course, is the trade selection process I've been using for decades for this option strategy. So I've been trading this in real time for a long time, have great success with this. So we built this algo to go out and look at millions of options and apply our trade selection process that I've been using in real time for decades.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen anything like this in the trading markets, in the options markets. I've never seen an automated system like this that scans literally millions of options to find the trade that meets our criteria.
That meets your criteria. And I know, Graham, you had mentioned, we all know systems out there that have the ability to potentially identify stocks, that are worth looking into. But so many people are wondering, well, what's the option that I should be playing on that? And Chuck, you provide not only the underlying stock, but you're actually showing precisely what the option is. And everything is, you're sharing everything that somebody needs to know to decide if that's a trade that they want to take.
Yes, that's exactly why I designed this program to search those millions of options and give you the exact strike price and expiration date that meets our criteria for selecting options trades.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, it's funny that this is happening right now. This morning on my morning show, we were doing a trade on the stock ED, which I didn't trade it before. And so we did all this work to find a stock, one that we really liked, and then I pulled the options and they were just no good. So that's frustrating. We did another stock. I did all the work vetting it, looking for it, and I pulled the options. There's no good. What's cool about AutoStrike is it's going to do all that for you. So you don't have to worry about going and doing stock selection and making sure the options are liquid. No, it's already going through that automatically for you, saving you lots of time and headaches, and then sending it for you teed up on a silver platter.
Sure. And Chuck, I think you also mentioned, and Gray, and you harped on it as well. This is a strategy that has survived the test of time. This is not something that's just enjoying results in these crazy volatile markets that we've seen over the past couple of weeks. As you said, Chuck, this has been your selection process going back over 40 years. So it has survived the test of time.
Yes, it has. And I've traded through bear markets, flat markets, and everything in between using this strategy. That's why I like the ability of this strategy to profit even when the stock goes down. That's key. That can lead to a higher percentage of winning trades and give you that edge that you need to succeed in trading options.
Sure. So Chuck, some people also, another question that was being asked, appreciating that this is a very, very solid strategy, but not every trade's going to be a winner. In those circumstances, when the trade goes against you, do you manage your exit, or are you basically forfeiting your investment on that particular trade and you move to the next one?
No, we manage the trade, and we're going to explain that trade management in detail in the upcoming masterclass.
Ah, that's great. Awesome. So folks, once again, that's kind of key, because a number of us, this is not, Chuck, you had talked about how most people trade the markets, buying a call, buying a put, heavy directional trade, things of that nature. And you shared with everybody what's potentially wrong with that is that the market's almost rigged against you. And so your strategy here, and folks, you have to kind of go back to the foundational components that Chuck talked about. When you're picking something that's deep in the money, with a relatively long expiration, you're going to do well as long as the price doesn't drop below that strike. And Chuck, once again, I know you well enough to know that you enjoy making money, but you also keep a pretty sharp eye on what the risk is, the risk to reward of your strategies. And so, once again, folks, you need to have level 2 or level 3 to place this particular trade, but it really does it's an edge. Chuck, pure and simple, this is an edge.
Yes, yep. And the nice thing about it, Raleigh, is that you know the profit potential and the risk ahead of time before you even take the trade. So if you see a trade you don't like, you can simply just pass on that, knowing that there's going to be plenty of more opportunities down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
I was just going to say, people, it looks like the page is working good. We just tested it on our end. Rich just said he finally got through, so he's in for life. Awesome, Rich.
Fantastic, guys. Yeah. Terrific. Wow, my gosh, awful lot of people here still with us here at this point in time, and this is terrific. And I'm not surprised, Chuck. I'm not. Yeah, we do have some. We do have some new traders here, and we refer to them affectionately as newbies, but they're wondering, Chuck, is this something that a new person, definition being, has never really placed a stock trade or an option trade? Is this something for them, or is this a bit too advanced?
Well, we give exact instructions on how to enter the trade.
Right.
And if members have any questions about that, we're going to cover that in detail in the upcoming masterclass on Thursday.
Awesome.
Right. And you also include the options training as part of the program here, which is something that people can get into. I guess my editorial comment would be this, folks. If you are absolutely just brand new to trading, if that's stock trading, there's two things, in my opinion, that you need to do. Number one, align yourself with an appropriate mentor. And I can't think of anybody much better than Chuck as your mentor. And secondly, you're investing in a system that's doing really the hardest part of the job, which is identifying the high probability trade. And then it's serving it up to you with everything that you need to know to place the trade. So if you're brand new to trading, your focus then is just going to be learning the mechanics of how you enter that trade into your broker platform. That's what you have to focus on. Because once again, Chuck's system is giving you the trade, everything that you need to do. Open up a paper trading account, prove to yourself that you know how to enter those options, get in and out of them. And once you're absolutely comfortable, start small. And to that point, Chuck, I know that all of your examples were based on 5K, but you're not suggesting to people here that you must have 5K on every trade. I think you said a single option would be around 500 on average. Is that correct?
Yeah, 500 to about $750 on average. And of course, that's going to depend mostly on the price of the underlying stock. So if you have a high price stock, obviously the option trade is going to be more expensive. So we have some higher price trades, and then we have some lower price trades also.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And guys, remember the cool thing here is that you're grandfathered into the new elite version of it as well, where you'll get more than one a day. So maybe today, I'm just going to make it up. I haven't seen it today, but maybe it's NVIDIA today and another stock, and one's trading for $1,000 in the contract, the other's at 300. Maybe you just take the one that's 300 a contract, and then you have plenty of opportunities each and every day. So it's not like you're cut off.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, exactly.
The master classes, guys, those will be recorded and posted in the members portal if for some reason you're not able to make them. Guys, if you're having issues signing up, post your name and number and email in the chat, please. It's private. It's not going to be shared with everyone, but we'll get it to our team to make sure you can get one of those 199 spots that we've opened up today.
All right, folks. So once again, I think more people are starting to get through, which is just great. And folks, once again, we do have, once we exit here, we've got your information here. We will share it with our sales team, and they'll give you a call. Let's see, I'm looking for some other, gosh, we've answered so many questions here, and it was a very comprehensive presentation. I want to make sure I don't overlook. Folks, we have so many comments here. If we didn't answer your question, if you don't mind, could you repost it? Because we literally have hundreds of comments here in the chat, and I want to make sure that we don't miss anything that was said. So if you don't mind, just repost your question.
Barbara got cut off from the call. We'll get you taken care of, Barbara. Raleigh, are you able to send the phone numbers and emails to Chuck's team? If so, I'll hook you up with that connection.
Yeah, I need that connection. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. We will get you guys taken care of. Again, I apologize. I know that we had so many people joining today. It seems like we had a little bit of a lag on the phone team or on the page. We got that all squared away now. You should be good to go. If you have any issues at all, just try again right now or give us a call, 828-318-8810. And again, post your name, number, and email in the chat if you had an issue and you'd like us to save one of your spots.
Chuck, some people may have not heard what you said initially, but did I hear you correctly that in most cases you issue those alerts sometime in the morning, and your recommendation would be to try to get in before the end of the closing of the market that day?
Yeah, that's a great point, Raleigh. This is not day trading. So if you're busy throughout the day, you can log on before the market close, get the trades, and put the trade in. And probably half the time, if you wait till the afternoon, you might even get a better entry price, depending on the market conditions. So you don't have to be glued to your computer. If you're busy, it's not urgent to take the trade the exact second that you receive it. This is position trading, and half the time if you wait a little bit, you'll even get a better entry price.
Sure.
Awesome.
Here's a question from Ravon, and he had an error on his purchase, and the reason for the error was this transaction has been declined. So that's just a function of your bank declining the transaction. So you probably have to contact your bank and let them know that it's okay to process your credit card.
Awesome. These weren't rollover examples, guys. These were just straight up income trades. So if you want to use one of Chuck's rollover processes to bank maybe even bigger profits, he'll teach you how to do that too. But this is just a base gain. Awesome. Barbara, I'm not sure. Did you send your email or your phone number in here? I got your email. I apologize. I'm kind of scrambling here through the chat just to make sure that the team gets the
and
phone numbers.
I'll sift through it also, Graham,
Okay, cool.
to make sure that we've got everything covered too.
Awesome, awesome.
And Richfield says, I finally got through. I'm in for life. Thank you, Richfield. Thanks for
Outstanding. That's great.
Thanks for your support.
That is great. Will this work in a volatile market? Mary's asking. Mary, to answer your question, actually, I should say over 20%. Do you guys remember what's happened in the markets over the last few weeks? Stocks have been crashing. Pulled out 9 winners during that stretch there, and that's just a handful of the examples there that you can see. So there, look at the exit dates. Right in the middle of March when things were ugly, but still a lot of opportunity there. So it actually is designed to work in very volatile markets. In fact, like Chuck showed you earlier, because of these special options that it's selecting, it's not normal options that most people are trading. Most people completely overlook them. But with these options, because they're so far down here, so far deep in the money, they're pretty hidden from most people. Stock can even fall, go against you, can be crazy volatile, and in this case, still pay for you. So again, the cool thing about AutoStrike, it doesn't just give you the ticker. It doesn't just give you the options. It doesn't just give you the entry price, but it also shows you how far it could fall and still pay. So in this case, HWM could have fallen 11.7%. This is a really strong stock. It's been in a beautiful trend for a very long time. It's probably not going to fall that much, and that's why the win rate's so high. We'd have to go all the way down there for it to be a loser. In this case, that didn't happen. You would have had another winner, $1,225. Remember, guys, it gives you these options that have winning scenarios across the board, whether the stock's going up, whether it's flat or falling down. We want to see wins across the board. All green lights means that we have a high probability income opportunity. In this case, $1,691. That was probably one of the better returns there. It looks really, really awesome right now. So guys, click that link in the chat to take one of the spots. And I know that we have a lot of spots filling up right now. Actually, I just heard from the team. It looks like about half the spots are already gone, guys. So again, we're only 30 minutes in here to signing up people, and half the spots are already gone. So guys, click that link in the chat. Be sure to join today and get the newest entry signals right away.
Yeah, some more questions coming up here. Are the losers 100% or less? Typically less, because once again, Chuck and his team in the system does a pretty good job of managing the losses in the event that opportunities turn against us. But there will be losing trades, but we look to, the system and Chuck's team looks to massage that so they minimize that.
And the cool thing here, guys, too, is that like Chuck isn't actually even handpicking these. He's built the system, but this system's able to go beyond what Chuck can do, beyond what his team can do, and find very rare needle in a haystack like opportunities in the options market because it automatically scans all the options out there. Chuck, I'm pretty quick with the computer, and I can probably scan 10 stocks options for the day, and then I'm out of time. This thing is doing all the stocks out there automatically. It's really, really sweet.
Yes, yep, that's the whole idea, Graham.
It's the Chuck bot.
Yeah, it is the Chuck bot.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, the question here, are the losers 100% or less? And we will explain the stop loss rule that we have for these trades on Thursday's presentation in the live masterclass.
All right.
Awesome, guys. Well, I know Chuck still has a busy day ahead of him. I do too. I got to get back, see what's going on in the markets. It looks like stocks are popping right now.
Are they?
Up
Yeah.
1% across the board. Love to see it. Hopefully you guys are like some of the folks here who already signed up and got their trades on the board. You might be up a little bit already. Love to
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
GR, it may be. You might think so, but that's why it works so well. It's part of the secret sauce. Based on the table, it ranges from down or up in prices. Does return stay the same as long as the price falls within the range? Simon, yes, until you get down to the break-even level, which is way, way, way below the price of a stock, and then that number, that percentage return will change.
And Nathan says, do we get phone and email alerts? No, Nathan, this is not an alert service. This is a dedicated website. You simply log on to the website, and then you get the trades there, and you can decide which trade you would like to take.
Yeah, so you know that you can just check in at any point after we said about 11 a.m., roughly speaking, and that trade will be there for you, and you can take it during that day. And if you miss a day, no worries. Awesome. Well, guys, I appreciate you all joining us today. We had a great crowd, and I'm sure I'm excited to see what the new members have to say and what the feedback's like so far to get started with this. Obviously, this is a next level sort of tool here that selects the options for you, does all the scanning, all the hard work, all done for you. It's really, really awesome what you've done here, Chuck, and I'm excited to hear about the new trades and how they've gone.
Yes, yeah, it's great to be here today with you, Graham, and I'm really excited about this AutoStrike. It's literally the pinnacle of my trading career, and we were actually able to create a program that scans through millions of options to come up with a trade that meets our trade selection criteria. So very excited about this program going forward. And Graham, I appreciate you setting up this program so that we can tell folks about it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys all for tuning in today. I'm sure Raleigh will be hanging around to answer some questions that you might have. But
Absolutely.
I'm very, very excited for this, Chuck. Again, it's something like I've never seen before. So I can't wait to get my hands on it and see today's new trades.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you, guys.
All right, folks, have a great day. Take care.
Thank you, Chuck. Thank you.